Chapter 2377. By Hua, what's going on? The old ancestor of the number 1 universe empire was called by Jing. He was also a peak space immortal. However, within the same level, there were differences in strength. Although the 3 space eagles had reached the true peak space immortal, there were still existences above it. Such existences were people like Bai Jing. Countless years ago, 9 people appeared in the vast space. They were the 9 old ancestors of the 9 great universe empires. The 9 of them all broke through the peak space immortal and reached the half-step space ruler level. From then on, they established the 9 great universe empires and dominated them. Half-step space ruler. Half-step space ruler, above the peak space peak, below the space ruler level. Half-step space rulers didn't devour the primal chaos tablet, but they had unlimited access to the primal chaos energy and didn't control it. The 9 people of the 9 great universe empires were all half-step space rulers. It could be said that, in the vast space, there were only 9 half-step space rulers. Among the 9 half-step starry sky rulers, Bai Jing was the strongest and most powerful cultivator in the starry sky. Moreover, she was the strongest under the starry sky rulers. The true number 1. Bai Hua obviously knew the old ancestor's strength. He also knew the reason why the old ancestor had disappeared for so many years. Even if the old ancestor's cultivation level had broken through, he still wasn't a true space ruler. The reason was simple. Because the old ancestor, including the other 8 half-step space rulers, hadn't devoured the primal chaos tablet. Without devouring the primal chaos tablet, they couldn't become a true space ruler. Old ancestor, it's like this. Bai Jing had made it clear that as long as the number 1 universe empire wasn't in a life and death situation, no one was to disturb him. Although Bai Jing hadn't obtained the primal chaos tablet after so many years, he didn't choose to give up. Bai Hua didn't dare to hide anything and told him everything in detail. From start to finish, Bai Jing didn't speak. He just listened quietly. One day later, Jian Wudi used a secret method to find Longao. Brother Jian, how did you find this place? Did something happen at home? In fact, Longao had already guessed it, but he didn't mention it. He wanted to see what Jian Wudi wanted to do. Although Longao had already guessed that Jian Wudi had betrayed him, he still wanted to give Jian Wudi one last chance. In the end, Longao was still unwilling to give up on this friend of his. Master, the 9 great starry sky empires have. Before Jian Wudi could finish his words, a laugh was heard. Wudi, since you have chosen to return to the empire, why waste your breath on him? Along with the laughter, Bai Hua suddenly appeared with countless people. At a glance, there were at least millions of people, including tens of thousands of starry sky immortals, starry sky legends, and starry sky almighties. What kind of concept was that? Without the slightest surprise, Longao appeared very calm. Wudi, I just want to know the reason. Since things had already come to this, Longao knew there was no turning back. He had already guessed that Jian Wudi's actions had something to do with the primal chaos stone tablet. If he had known, he wouldn't have told Jian Wudi about the tablet. Because Jian Wudi had made a blood oath, of course, he wouldn't say anything about the tablet. However, he still said coldly, Longao, since you already know, why ask me? You were the one who was heartless first. Don't blame me for being unjust. So that's how it was. Longao's heart was pained. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he really didn't want to give up on Jian Wudi. However, since things had already come to this, Longao knew he had nowhere to go. He didn't continue asking, nor did he say anything. Turning to look at Bai Hua, Longao wasn't afraid at all. He smiled and said, Bai Hua, do you think you can keep me here? Longao's meaning was simple. Even the 3 starry sky eagles couldn't keep him here, much less Bai Hua. The current number 1 starry sky empire had no limit. Just relying on the current number 1 starry sky empire couldn't keep him here. Under such circumstances, Longao didn't even need to enter the primal chaos palace. Just relying on strength, no one could keep him here. This was confidence. How could Bai Hua and the others not understand Longao's meaning? The 3 starry sky eagles were the strongest in the number 1 starry sky empire. Even the 3 starry sky eagles couldn't kill Longao. Was there anyone in the number 1 starry sky empire that could keep Longao trapped? Everyone, including Jin Wudi, didn't know what Bai Hua meant. Since Bai Hua knew he couldn't kill Longao and couldn't keep him here, why not wait a little longer until the news reached the Soaring Dragon Empire and the 3 Starry Sky Eagles returned to deal with Longao? That way, the chances of success would be higher. However, Bai Hua didn't do that. Was Bai Hua really that confident? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. Bai Hua smiled and said indifferently, Longao, you are too arrogant. Do you really think you can compete with our #1 Starry Sky Empire? Others might believe that Longao had a Starry Sky ruler behind him, but Bai Hua didn't believe it. If that was the case, why would Longao go through so much trouble to destroy the #1 Starry Sky Empire and all the other Starry Sky Empires? He could easily dominate the vast Starry Sky. And the result? Longao didn't do that at all. There was only one explanation. That was, Longao didn't have a Starry Sky ruler behind him. Longao deliberately did this to scare people. It was because of this that the #1 Starry Sky Empire wanted to join forces with Longao to deal with the #2 Starry Sky Empire. They didn't dare to do anything to Longao. However, the 3 Starry Sky Eagles had already guessed that Longao didn't have a Starry Sky ruler behind him. Even if there was a Starry Sky ruler behind Longao, there was still something fishy about it. Otherwise, there was no way the Starry Sky ruler wouldn't help Longao. After all, it was almost impossible for Longao to dominate the vast Starry Sky and destroy the 9 Starry Sky Empires with just Longao's strength alone. It was a complete fantasy. Longao laughed. Bai Hua, I can tell you clearly that you're not qualified to do so. If I want to leave, not just you, even if the 3 Space Eagles were here, they wouldn't be able to stop me. Ha 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 ha. With a heroic spirit, Longao raised his head and laughed maniacally. He didn't care about Bai Hua and the others at all. Just at this moment, Longao, aren't you a little too arrogant? A majestic voice suddenly rang out as a terrifying aura pressed down. Chapter 2378. Longao's expression changed abruptly. He could clearly sense the strength of this mysterious expert who had suddenly arrived. It was definitely not a Starry Sky ruler. Could it be a peak Starry Sky immortal expert? Longao was well aware of the strength of a peak Starry Sky immortal expert. It seemed impossible to suppress him with just one's aura. Who was it? Bai Jing's figure appeared instantly. Who was it? No one recognized Bai Jing, but everyone knew very well that the person who had just arrived was definitely not simple. His aura alone was enough to suppress everyone around. Greetings, Ancestor. Ancestor? Wasn't the Ancestor one of the 3 Starry Sky Eagles? In that case, who was this person? Bai Hua was the emperor of the #1 Starry Sky Empire. He could be said to be the person with the most real power in the vast Starry Sky. He was a super figure who could shake the entire Starry Sky 3 times with a stomp of his feet. Yet now, Bai Hua was extremely respectful toward the man before him. It was as respectful as it could be. It was as if he was a grandson meeting his grandfather. No one knew what was going on. In short, if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Bai Jing nodded, looked at Longao not far away, and said indifferently, Longao, you are a very remarkable person. I just want to ask you, do you really have a Starry Sky ruler behind you? Who are you? He didn't answer the other party's question because no matter what happened, he had to first figure out the other party's identity. Otherwise, everything else would be nonsense. Bai Jing. Bai Jing? Longao might not know much about Bai Jing, but that didn't mean the others didn't. Hearing the other party's self-introduction, everyone was shocked to the extreme. Shock was written all over their faces. This was unbelievable. Bai Jing, the founder of the #1 Starry Sky Empire, was also the strongest Starry Sky cultivator in the vast Starry Sky. She was known as the real #1 person under the Starry Sky ruler. Longao didn't know who Bai Jing was. Seeing this, Bai Hua was furious. Before Bai Hua could speak, Bai Jing waved her hand and said with a smile, You haven't answered my question. Why should I answer you? Whether I have a Starry Sky ruler behind me or not, what does that have to do with you? Longao's answer shocked everyone in the surroundings once again. He had seen arrogant people before, but he had never seen such an arrogant person. Listening to the discussions around him, Longao already roughly knew who Bai Jing, who had just ascended, was. The super powerhouse who founded the first Starry Sky Empire, the true number one person under the vast sovereign. Almost without guessing, Longao already knew what kind of strength the other party had. Peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm. There was no doubt about it. However, Longao still heard some discussions. The white crystal in front of him wasn't a peak Starry Sky Immortal, but a half-step Starry Sky ruler that was above the peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm. It was only one step away from becoming a Starry Sky ruler. The crux of this step was the so-called Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. However, other than the 12 of them, there were also the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets that he had obtained. It was almost impossible for anyone else to obtain a Chaos Stone Tablet. Longao admired Bai Jing very much. Being able to establish the first Starry Sky Empire was already proof of this person's strength, especially when his cultivation had broken through to the half-step Starry Sky ruler. Such talent was enough to look down on the entire vast universe. Longao was almost certain that in terms of talent, even a Starry Sky ruler who had devoured a Chaos Stone Tablet might not be able to compare to Bai Jing and the other 8. Without devouring a Chaos Stone Tablet, Bai Jing and the other 8 were able to reach this level of cultivation. Such talent was terrifying. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Longao was very clear about the other party's strength. Unless he hid in the Primal Chaos Palace, he wouldn't be a match for Bai Jing in terms of strength. Not to mention a half-step Starry Sky ruler. Even a peak Starry Sky ruler wouldn't be a match for him. Seeing Longao remain silent, Bai Jing smiled and said, "Longao, I'll give you a chance. As long as you are willing to hand over the Chaos Stone Tablet, the grudge between you and the first Starry Sky Empire will be written off." The 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers of the 9 Starry Sky Empires naturally knew about the arrival of the Primal Chaos Plane and the 12 Chaos Stone Tablets. However, from beginning to end, the 9 of them didn't even take half a step into the Primal Chaos Plane. They didn't even pay attention to it. It wasn't that they didn't care about the Chaos Stone Tablets, but that they didn't dare to enter. If they were discovered by Master God Diviner and the others, not to mention devouring a Chaos Stone Tablet, they didn't even know if they could survive. A half-step Starry Sky ruler was still a half-step Starry Sky ruler, not a true Starry Sky ruler. If the 12 Starry Sky rulers wanted to destroy the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers, it would be a simple matter. Was it worth it to lose their lives for a Chaos Stone Tablet? Definitely not. Moreover, the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers knew very well that with Master God Diviner and the others guarding the Primal Chaos Plane, it would be a fool's dream for others to obtain a Chaos Stone Tablet. It was almost impossible. Indeed, from beginning to end, the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers didn't care about the Primal Chaos Plane at all. Instead, they searched everywhere for other Chaos Stone Tablets, hoping to find one and then devour it to become a true Starry Sky ruler. However, Bai Jing never imagined that things would turn out like this. Master God Diviner and the others didn't obtain all the Chaos Stone Tablets. If that was the case, the 9 of them had a chance to obtain the scattered Chaos Stone Tablets in the vast Starry Sky. According to Bai Hua, this person in front of her had obtained 2 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets. Although Longao had personally said that the 2 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets had disappeared without a trace, and Bai Jing also believed that this was the case, she still wanted to give it a try. If she really managed to obtain a Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, then it would be like a meat pie falling from the sky. Longao smiled. Everyone looked at Longao and Bai Jing, wondering if Longao would be able to leave this place alive. There was no need to mention the strength of a half-step Starry Sky ruler. Unless the 12 Starry Sky rulers came in person, even if the other 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers came in person, they still wouldn't be able to protect Longao. If that was the case, then Longao would die without a doubt. Everyone shook their heads helplessly. Although they were enemies, Longao was indeed worthy of everyone's admiration. A puny rank 8 Starry Sky cultivator had fought his way up. In just a few years, he was able to contend against the 9 great Starry Sky empires. If it weren't for Ancestor Bai Jing coming in person, Longao might still be safe. The 9 great Starry Sky empires still wouldn't be able to do anything. Chapter 2379. Of course, Bai Jing was confident in his own strength. Not to mention a mere universe legend. Even a peak universe immortal wouldn't be able to escape from under his nose. Bai Jing, if I want to leave, even you can't stop me. Hearing this, Bai Jing laughed. Not only Bai Jing, but everyone around also laughed crazily. Longao was simply too shameless, daring to challenge the ancestor of the number 1 universe empire. He didn't know what was good for him. But the next second, Longao disappeared into thin air. That's right, he disappeared right under Bai Jing's nose. Everyone was completely dumbfounded, not knowing what had just happened. No one knew how Longao did it. But one had to know. Bai Jing was a genuine half-step universe dominator, only one step away from officially becoming a universe dominator. With such strength, how could Longao disappear right under Bai Jing's nose? Although they didn't want to believe it, the truth was right in front of them. The truth was the truth. It couldn't be changed. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. Ancestor, I forgot to tell you, Longao has a space god tool. Even your 3 disciples can't lock onto this space god tool. Bai Jing was furious. If not for Bai Hua's identity, he would have already attacked. If he had known this earlier, he would have been prepared. But it was already too late. Bai Jing had been trying to lock onto Longao's position, but he still couldn't do it. In other words, Longao's space god tool was too terrifying, even he couldn't lock onto it. Was this true? Bai Jing, I will settle the grudge between us in the future. If I don't destroy your number 1 universe empire, I swear I'm not human. He could only hear Longao's voice, but not see Longao's figure. What was going on? Bai Jing had never encountered such a thing. Not to mention a mere universe legend. Even the other 8 couldn't do it. Bai Jing's face was gloomy, as ugly as it could get. Because even now, Bai Jing still didn't know how Longao did it. Did he really rely on a space god tool? It seemed a little ridiculous. Bai Jing's cultivation base had already broken through to half-step Starry Sky Ruler. She was naturally very confident in her own strength. Unless it was a powerful Starry Sky Divine tool like the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, otherwise, how could Longao disappear into thin air with just a Starry Sky Divine tool? Even he couldn't lock onto the other party's position. Soaring Dragon Realm. After news of the white crystal spread, the 9 Grand Starry Skies all chose to stop attacking. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles rushed back to the first Starry Sky Empire as fast as they could because their master was still alive. This was a great news for the first Starry Sky Empire. As long as Bai Jing was alive, she could completely suppress the other 8 empires and dominate the entire universe. The other 8 Empire Limits universe undyings were similarly shocked, because they also knew the seriousness of the matter. Longao returned to the Soaring Dragon Empire smoothly. He was more or less relieved. If it wasn't for the Chaos Palace's help, he would have been killed by Bai Jing. It would have been impossible for him to return to the Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao, I heard that white crystals have appeared. As soon as Longao returned, Xiling rushed over impatiently and asked straightforwardly. He nodded. Towards Xiling, Longao did not have the slightest bit of concealment. He recounted the previous matter in full detail. Xiling, what's the origin of Bai Jing? Longao was well aware of how powerful Bai Jing was. He just couldn't figure out why the other 12 rulers didn't eliminate the 9 half-step rulers and kill them when they were so talented. Because if the 9 of them devoured the Primal Chaos Tablets, their refining speed would be countless times faster than others. What kind of concept was that? How could Xiling not know what Longao meant? He thought for a moment and said, Longao, I don't need to say more about the 9's talents. I believe you already know. Back then, the 9 of them rose to power with unprecedented talent and created 9 grand Starry Sky empires, dominating the vast universe. Longao didn't say anything and just listened quietly. Back then, the 12 of us also thought of killing the 9 of them because we weren't sure if anyone could become a ruler without devouring the Primal Chaos Tablets. Definitely not. Longao was almost certain of this point. He knew very well that there was only one way to become a ruler of the universe, and that was to devour the Primal Chaos Tablets. Other methods were almost impossible. Since that was the case, Why didn't the 12 of them kill the 9 half-step rulers? Since the 9 of them can't become a ruler of the universe no matter how talented they are, the 12 of us don't need to meddle in the affairs of the vast universe. However, Longao, although the 9 of them didn't devour the primal chaos tablets, their strength is infinitely close to ours. Even for us, it won't be easy to kill them. So that was the case. If that was the case, things would be troublesome. Even a ruler of the universe would find it difficult to kill a super existence. It wouldn't be easy for them to deal with them. Just as Xiling was about to say something, Yuan suddenly walked in from outside. She looked very anxious, as if something important had happened. Yuan, what's the matter? Longao was very curious. He didn't know what had happened to Yuan. Did something happen to the family? It seemed impossible because he had full confidence that even Bai Jing would not be able to break the seal of the soaring dragon bit wall for the time being. Brother Long, Sister Aoshue is about to give birth. Aoshue was about to give birth? Hearing Yu Yin's words, no matter if it was Long Ao or Ziling, they were both completely stunned. Ever since Ao Shui became pregnant, she still hadn't given birth to a child. No one knew why. Take me there quickly. Long Ao was extremely surprised. He didn't expect to be a father soon. Xiling, Yuan, and Long Ao immediately rushed to Aoshua's courtyard. The 3 of them arrived in the blink of an eye. She's giving birth. She's giving birth. She's giving birth? Why couldn't they hear her crying? It turned out that the child knew how to smile and not cry when he was born. Not only that, but there were more shocking things to come. Aoshue held the newborn child in her arms with a loving look on her face, while Long Ao sat by the bed with a surprised look on his face. He had already guessed that his child was definitely not simple. When he was in Aoshue's belly, he had already broken through to the Starry Sky Cultivator realm. However, he still did not expect that the newborn child's cultivation would directly reach the Starry Sky Legend realm. Chapter 2380. Star Sky Legend? Sensing the terrifying aura released by the child, everyone was completely stunned. Especially Long Ao. He never would have thought that his child's cultivation would be on par with his when he was just born. Because after so many years of cultivation and moments of life and death, his cultivation had finally reached Star Sky Legend. Comparing oneself to others, one would die from anger. But Long Ao was really happy, because the stronger his son was, the more excited he was. Brother Long, the child doesn't have a name yet? Right. Long Ao turned to look at Long Haoshi and said, Grandfather, you name the child? Long Haoshi shook his head and smiled. You do it? Since his grandfather said so, Long Ao didn't hold back. At this moment, almost everyone was present. Even those who had swallowed the Primal Chaos Tablet chose to come out. Although refining the Primal Chaos Tablet was important, compared to the child, it was insignificant. What should he name the child? Long Ao was very clear that his child was definitely not ordinary. To be able to break through Star Sky Legend as soon as he was born, in the entire vast universe, his son was probably unprecedented. Finally, the child's name was Long Yun. Not only that, the child's growth speed was extremely fast. In a few days, he was bigger than other children in a few months. Long Yun was the joy of the entire Soaring Dragon Empire, especially Long Haoshi and Long Yi. The 3 of them simply treated Long Yun as their lifeblood. For their grandson, great-grandson, the 3 of them didn't even choose to go into closed-door cultivation, because to them, it didn't matter when they refined the Primal Chaos Tablet. The most important thing was to accompany Long Yun. Long Ao, let's put the child's matter aside for now. Your whereabouts have been exposed, and the Primal Chaos Tablet has already left the Primal Chaos Plane. I believe that Bai Jing and the others will want to capture you and force you to tell them about the Primal Chaos Tablet. My Primal Chaos Tablet has already left on its own. Xiling gritted his teeth. With a solemn expression, Xiling said helplessly, Long Ao, you're oversimplifying things. So what if someone can testify for you? Before Long Ao could speak, Xiling continued to say, even if they know that the Chaos Tablet you obtained left on its own, you can still obtain Chaos Tablets. I believe you know what that means. Long Ao already knew what Xiling meant. If nothing unexpected happened, Since he was able to obtain the Primal Chaos Stone tablet the first time and the second time, he would definitely be able to obtain the Primal Chaos Stone tablet the third or fourth time. If that was the case, he would be in big trouble. Not to mention white crystals. He believed that the other half-step Starry Sky rulers would also come looking for him. Longao's expression turned solemn. If someone could become a Starry Sky ruler, then they wouldn't need to fear a half-step Starry Sky ruler. But now, of all the people who had devoured the Primal Chaos tablets, including Xiling, who had already refined a second Primal Chaos tablet, none of them had been able to truly refine the Primal Chaos tablet and become a ruler of space. If that was the case, things would become very troublesome. What should he do? Thinking back and forth, for a moment, Longao also could not think of a better way. Xiling, what do you think I should do now? Xiling's expression was solemn. If she was at her peak, she wouldn't need to fear a half-step Starry Sky ruler. But now, even she didn't have the slightest idea of what to do. Longao, Longchang's Primal Chaos tablet, and mine won't be able to hold for long. According to my guess, if nothing unexpected happens, white crystals will be able to break the seal in less than a month. If 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers act at the same time, they'll be able to break the seal that Longchang and I set up together in 10 days. Then we'll be in trouble. Whether it was 10 days or a month, it didn't make much of a difference to him. In the entire vast universe, only one person could suppress 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers, and that was the Godly Diviner. Would the Godly Diviner help him? Longao was sure that if he went to find the Godly Diviner, there was no doubt that the Godly Diviner would help him. However, he would definitely repay this favor in the future. Xiling didn't say anything, because she didn't know what to do at this time. The number 1 Starry Sky Empire. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles returned smoothly. When they saw their master, the 3 of them were pleasantly surprised to the extreme. They couldn't believe that their master was still alive. If that was the case, then the entire vast universe would belong to the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. After all, under normal circumstances, the Starry Sky rulers wouldn't intervene in the matters of the vast universe. Master. The 3 of them bowed respectfully. The 3 of them could be said to be the true experts of the vast universe. However, standing in front of their master, the 3 of them didn't even dare to breathe loudly, because the 3 of them knew very well what a half-step Starry Sky ruler meant. Get up. In the beginning, white crystals felt very uncomfortable. The 3 disciples she was most proud of couldn't even deal with Longao. Moreover, the 9 Starry Sky Empires had to join forces. If they could kill Longao, it would be fine, but she didn't expect that they would end up empty-handed. But now, white crystals wasn't angry at all, because even she couldn't trap Longao. This in itself showed how heaven-defying the Starry Sky God tool Longao had. Thank you, Master. The 3 of you, tell me, why couldn't the 9 Starry Sky Empires break the seal of the Soaring Dragon Realm? White crystals couldn't figure it out because Longao's strength was only at the Starry Sky Legend realm. It was almost impossible for him to fight against the 9 Starry Sky Empires. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles didn't dare to hide anything. They knew their master's temper very well. If they hid anything and their master found out, they wouldn't even have the chance to explain. As the leader, Sky Eagle was the first to explain everything in detail. In fact, the 3 Space Eagles did not know what was going on with the seal of the Soaring Dragon Dimension. They did not know why the 9 great Starry Sky Empires, dozens of peak Starry Sky Immortals, could not break the seal of the Soaring Dragon Dimension even when they joined forces. They couldn't figure it out. They really couldn't figure it out. After listening, white crystals didn't say anything. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles also didn't dare to say anything. They just stood aside quietly. White crystals also couldn't figure out why couldn't the Soaring Dragon Realm seal be broken by the combined forces of dozens of Starry Sky Immortals. Under normal circumstances, it should be impossible. What was the reason? Haven't the 3 of you thought about the reason? Sky Eagle thought for a while, as if there was something he couldn't say. Say it. Master, according to my guess, if there are no accidents, this should be related to the Starry Sky Ruler. Otherwise, it's impossible. Chapter 2381. Astral Dominator? Bai Jing's only fear was the 12 cosmic rulers. He had already heard that Longao was backed by a starry sky ruler, so this was basically a fact. If that was the case, things would be very troublesome. Regarding Sky Eagle's intentions, Bai Jing already knew. If there were no accidents, being able to withstand the joint attack of the 9 great starry sky empires and dozens of peak starry sky masters meant that the seal of the soaring dragon bit wall was arranged by the starry sky ruler. In that case, let alone a peak starry sky immortal, even a half-step starry sky ruler wouldn't be able to break the seal. Bai Jing's face was very gloomy. It was as ugly as it could get. Ancestor, what should we do now? The 3 starry sky eagles certainly knew what their master was worried about. If it was really as they guessed, then it was almost impossible to break the seal of the soaring dragon bit wall. He would not give up until he killed Longao. Not only that, what the 3 starry sky eagles were truly worried about was Longao's talent. Longao's talent was there. There was no doubt that if he was given enough time, he would definitely grow up in the future. At that time, no one would be able to match him. If you don't remove the roots when you cut the weeds, they will grow again when the spring breeze blows. No matter who it was, they all knew this very well. If it were just them, this matter would be very difficult to handle. Fortunately, their master had returned. As a half-step starry sky dominator, their master was only 1 step away from becoming a starry sky dominator. Perhaps he would have a way to deal with the soaring dragon empire. I'm going to the soaring dragon empire. Yes, master. Bai Jing was not sure if the seal of the soaring dragon bit wall was set up by the starry sky ruler. If it was not, she would have missed such an opportunity. If that was the case, he would think of another way. The 12 dominators of the starry sky were the dominator of the 5 elements starry sky, the dominator of the devouring starry sky, the dominator of the lightning starry sky, the dominator of the space starry sky, the dominator of the time starry sky, the dominator of the destruction starry sky, the dominator of the reincarnation starry sky, the dominator of the slaughter starry sky, the dominator of the divine calculation starry sky, the dominator of the sword will starry sky, the dominator of the immortal tyrant body, and the dominator of the darkness starry sky. According to Sky Eagle, the starry sky ruler behind Longao was very likely the starry sky ruler. As for whether it was true or not, it was still unknown. Bai Jing had already thought about this. Taking a step back, if Longao really had the divine mathematician behind him, then he might not be able to deal with Longao. If Master God Diviner were to make a move, the empire would be finished. 12 astral dominators. Any one of them could easily destroy the 9 great starry sky empires. A half-step starry sky ruler was always a half-step starry sky ruler, not a true starry sky ruler. The gap between the two was too big. Not to mention 1 half-step starry sky ruler. Even if 9 half-step starry sky rulers joined forces, they still wouldn't be a match for 1 starry sky ruler. Soaring Dragon Empire. Because of the birth of the child, Longao was happy for a short while. He immediately began to think alone. Now that the situation was critical and Bai Jing appeared at this time, she would definitely not give up. She would do everything she could to deal with him. According to Xiling, once Bai Jing arrived, it would take at most a month for her to break the seal. By then, no one in the entire Soaring Dragon Empire would be able to fight against a half-step starry sky dominator. He had to think of a way to deal with Bai Jing as soon as possible. No matter how much he thought about it, he still couldn't think of a good idea. What should he do? In the courtyard. Big brother, our current situation is very serious. Why don't we move to another place and give Bai Jing and the first Starry Sky Empire an empty city strategy? At that time, Bai Jing would definitely be angered to death. Long Chong had begun to refine the Chaos Stone Tablet, but it wasn't easy to become a Starry Sky ruler. But at this time, the situation was very serious. How could Long Chong continue to cultivate in seclusion? Long Ao knew Long Chong's meaning very well. For now, this was the best way. He was almost certain that if there were no accidents, Bai Jing would definitely come and try to see if she could break the seal of the Soaring Dragon Realm. Once broken, it would be a devastating blow to the Soaring Dragon Empire. At that time, they wouldn't even have the chance to regret. The 9 great starry sky empires almost dominate the entire vast starry sky. Especially under such circumstances, we can't move the entire empire without anyone knowing. It was very troublesome. If it was possible, Longao wouldn't have such a headache. Even the Chaos Palace couldn't do it without anyone knowing. In this case, the only way was to take his family away. But to give up the empire, he couldn't do that. Longchong knew his big brother's character very well. Even if he took the risk, he would never choose to give up the soaring dragon empire. Persuasion was unnecessary. Because of this, Longchong didn't try to persuade him at all. Instead, he tried his best to think of a way to share the burden of his big brother. He wanted to see what could be done to resist Bai Jing and the first Starry Sky Empire. Big brother, this time only Bai Jing came. The other 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers of the other 8 great Starry Sky Empires are nowhere to be seen. If we can find them, we can sow discord. Waving his hand, before Long Chong could finish, Long Ao said, "That's impossible. The 8 of them have reached the peak of their cultivation. Unless it's a chaos tablet, it's impossible to make them kill each other. As for the others, it's almost impossible." The 9 of them had all broken through the half-step Starry Sky Ruler realm. They were only 1 step away from the legendary Starry Sky Ruler realm. The only way now was to devour the Chaos Tablet. Only then would they have a chance to become a Starry Sky Ruler. For the 9 of them, other things were no longer important. The most important thing was to become a Starry Sky Ruler and devour the Chaos Tablet. The Chaos Tablet he had obtained had all been devoured by others. Even if someone was willing to use the Chaos Tablet as bait, Long Ao would never agree. He couldn't take this risk. It wasn't easy to hide from everyone. If he relaxed a little and was discovered by the Oracle and the others, it would be like chasing away the tiger and attracting the wolf. It was a nonsensical matter. This won't do. We have to think of another way. Did he really have to find the Oracle? Unless it was a last resort, Long Ao really didn't want to find the Oracle. What he owed now, he would have to pay back in the future. Even now, Long Ao still didn't know whether the Oracle was a friend or foe. If he was an enemy, then things would be very troublesome. After thinking about it, Long Ao finally chose to give up. It was better to rely on oneself than on others. He didn't even fear a Starry Sky Ruler. So what was going on? In the end, it was because he was worried about his own people. If he was alone, then not to mention Bai Jing, even if the 9 of them joined forces, he wouldn't be afraid. Chapter 2382. Grandfather, you're looking for me? Long Ao was very surprised that his grandfather suddenly came to find him. He didn't know what his grandfather wanted. Long Haosher nodded and said with a smile, "Ao, sit." Long Ao didn't have the slightest courtesy. No matter how upset he was very indifferent to his grandfather. "Ao, I came to find you this time to ask you, how is the situation?" How could Long Ao not know what his grandfather wanted to ask? Tell his grandfather? Long Ao definitely wouldn't tell his grandfather the truth. He didn't want his grandfather to be worried. Not only would he not tell his grandfather, he wouldn't even leak any information to others. He would bear it alone. However, before Long Ao spoke, Long Haosher continued, "Ao, you don't need to hide anything from me. If you hide anything, I will personally go out to investigate." Long Ao was very clear about what kind of person his grandfather was. If he didn't say anything, his grandfather would really go out. If that was the case, Long Ao was very afraid that something would happen to his grandfather. If that was the case, he would feel guilty for the rest of his life and wouldn't be able to explain it to himself. There was really no other way. Long Ao shrugged helplessly. There was really no other way, so he explained everything in detail. After listening, Long Haosher lowered his head and pondered. "Grandfather." He waved his hand. Seeing his grandfather lowering his head and pondering, Long Ao didn't say anything and didn't get up to leave. Just like this, time passed bit by bit. After an unknown amount of time, Long Haosher finally raised his head and said, "Ao, I know what you mean. Listen to your grandfather. 10 years is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge. We should withdraw from the Soaring Dragon Empire first. In the future, when we have the Starry Sky Ruler, not to mention White Crystal, even if the 9 great Starry Sky Empires join forces, they won't be our match." Long Ao already knew what his grandfather meant. If there was another way, Long Ao would definitely not choose to leave. However, there was no way to avoid it now. If he didn't leave, the entire empire would be in danger. With the Chaos Palace, he could enter, his family could enter, but what about others? Longao wouldn't give up on the empire. He had no other choice. Longao finally nodded and said, "Grandpa, I know what to do. I'll go prepare now." Hearing that his grandson had finally agreed, Longao heaved a sigh of relief. He smiled helplessly. Victory and defeat are common in war. Grandfather, I understand." After sending Longao off, Longao prepared to make his move. There was only one way to do this without anyone noticing, and that was to borrow the power of the Primal Chaos Palace. Within the Primal Chaos Palace, the current Primal Chaos Palace was more than capable of accommodating hundreds of thousands of people. However, it was impossible for it to accommodate more people. Although he hadn't truly grasped the Primal Chaos Palace, Longao was very clear that the size and power of the Primal Chaos Palace was closely related to his control. If he could control the Primal Chaos Palace, then not to mention hundreds of thousands of people, even millions, tens of millions, or hundreds of millions of people would not be a problem. It was precisely because of this that Longao appeared to be very helpless and even more irritated. This was because it was almost impossible to take away the entire Soaring Dragon Empire with the help of the Primal Chaos Palace. At most, they could only accomplish 1% of it. What kind of concept was that? 99% of the people had to stay. If that was the case, once Bai Jing massacred everyone, how would he explain it to the empire? However, there was no other way. Since things had already come to this, he couldn't delay any longer. The longer he delayed, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. Let's move a batch first. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't selfish. Longao was also a human, and humans were all selfish. Driven by selfishness, Longao prepared to move all his family members out. At this rate, it would take at least 100 times to move all of them. Longao brought everyone from the Long family, including those who had obtained the Primal Chaos Tablet, Xiling, and Long Chong, into the Primal Chaos Palace. Just as Longao was about to leave, the situation suddenly changed. Longao discovered that Bai Jing had indeed arrived. At this time, it was almost impossible for him to leave without anyone noticing. If it was in the past, or if he was alone, Longao wouldn't have the slightest bit of worry. Not to mention a half-step Starry Sky Dominator. Even a true Starry Sky Dominator wouldn't be in his eyes. As long as he was in the Primal Chaos Palace, nothing would be a problem. However, the problem now was that he couldn't fail, and he couldn't be discovered by Bai Jing and the others. Otherwise, once Bai Jing was prepared, how would he deal with it? However, Longao was still prepared to take the risk. If he continued to stay, who knew what would happen? He couldn't waste too much time. What he feared would happen. As soon as Longao left the Soaring Dragon Realm, he was locked onto by Bai Jing. He had to admit that Bai Jing's strength was really strong. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles, Lin Han, Wang Tao, and the others couldn't lock onto Longao's position. "Longao, you want to leave?" "So what if I do?" Seeing Longao so calm, Bai Jing was very depressed in his heart. If it was a head-on clash, of course he was not afraid of Longao, because not to mention his strength, even his own 3 disciples could easily deal with the other party in a matter of minutes. But what was the result? Longao didn't want to fight him head-on. This was the key. In this case, no matter how strong they were, they couldn't kill Longao. After all, Longao had a Starry Sky Divine tool. Not to mention his 3 disciples, even he couldn't lock onto the other party's Starry Sky Divine tool. He was very angry, but there was nothing he could do. "Longao, if you are a man, then fight with me fairly. You and I will fight one-on-one. If I lose, not to mention me, even the entire number 1 Starry Sky Empire will be given to you. But if you lose, I will not take your life. As long as you agree to 2 of my conditions, how about it?" Without waiting for Longao to speak, Bai Jing added, "Don't tell me you don't dare." The 3 Starry Sky Eagles laughed crazily. Their laughter was full of contempt and ridicule because they certainly knew what their master meant. It was nothing more than forcing Longao to fight with them head-on instead of hiding in the Starry Sky Divine tool. Everyone around had a look of contempt because they were all from the 9 great empires. Everyone knew what was going on. Bai Jing was a legendary figure and also an idol in many people's hearts. He was a half-step starry sky dominator above the limit of the starry sky immortal realm. Bai Jing had created two mini-legends countless years ago. Chapter 2383. Bai Jing, the true number one under the universe ruler. Countless years ago, a total of 9 talented super figures appeared in the vast universe. In a few hundred years, all 9 of them broke through and became half-step universe rulers. The 9 of them created 9 great universe empires and dominated the vast universe. Among the 9 people, Bai Jing was the most powerful one. Would Longao dare to accept the challenge? Not just Longao. Even the other 8 didn't dare to casually accept the challenge. Bai Jing's strength was there was no doubt about it. Accepting the challenge meant death. Accepting the challenge meant death. Unless Longao's brain was damaged or he wanted to die, he wouldn't choose to accept the challenge. Everyone already knew that Longao had a spatial divine tool that could make him disappear at will. Even a half-step starry sky dominator couldn't lock onto him and break it. Such a spatial divine artifact was too terrifying. Even Bai Jing was very wary of this starry sky divine tool. Would Longao accept the challenge? Everyone was waiting. Even though they knew that Longao would not accept the challenge, there were still many people who wanted to see how this newly risen heaven's pride would be dealt with by the White Crystal legend. Bai Jing and the 3 Space Eagles, including Lin Han and Wang Tao, didn't make a move. They all watched Longao. As for Lin Han and Wang Tao, as well as the peak universe immortals of the other empires, they all felt helpless and depressed. The number 1 universe empire was already very strong. Now that Bai Jing had appeared, the other 8 empires couldn't compete at all. Provoking the number 1 universe empire was suicide. All the experts of the 8 empires working together weren't Bai Jing's match. Longao wasn't afraid at all. He knew what Bai Jing meant. Provocation. She wanted him to accept the challenge and deal with him. As for Bai Jing's 2 conditions, Longao didn't need to ask to guess. If nothing unexpected happened, once he lost, Bai Jing would ask about the Primal Chaos Tablet. Bai Jing's cultivation had already broken through to half-step universe ruler. She didn't care about anything except the Primal Chaos Tablet. The reason was simple. This was because only by devouring the Primal Chaos Tablets could White Crystal borrow the power of the Primal Chaos Tablets to become the ruler of the universe. Everyone was looking at him. Should he accept the challenge? Fight? Or not? Bai Jing was a genuine half-step starry sky ruler. If Luo Yunyang accepted the challenge, he would most likely die. After all, Longao knew his own strength very well. Skipping levels to fight. Even if he could kill a starry sky immortal with his current strength, it was almost impossible for him to contend against a peak starry sky immortal or a half-step starry sky ruler. Ha ha ha, Longao. It seems like you're afraid. Big brother, don't force Longao. He is a coward. Sky Eagle and Earth Eagle mocked each other. If it were anyone else, they would only have 2 choices. One was to die, and the other was to escape. Bai Jing, you and I can fight, but what I want is fairness. Huh. Longao was really going to accept the challenge? Hearing Longao's words, everyone was completely stupefied. Even the 3 starry sky eagles and Bai Jing were similarly shocked because no one had guessed that Longao would really accept the challenge. Wasn't that the same as suicide? Longao was crazy. However, the people of the 9 great cosmic empires all hoped that Longao would die. However, the situation was completely different now. With Bai Jing's appearance, the other 8 empires were already suspicious. If they weren't afraid of Bai Jing, they might have already retreated. Bai Jing's deterrence was just too great. Bai Jing smiled and said, "Sure. As long as Longao chose to accept the challenge, no matter what the conditions were, Bai Jing would basically agree to them." It was still those same words. He didn't care about Longao's life or death. The only thing he cared about was the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. As long as he could devour the tablet, he would even give up the number 1 cosmic empire he had built. In his heart, the Primal Chaos Tablet was number 1. Bai Jing, take 3 of my moves. If you can take them, I can agree to any of your conditions. However, if you can't, Not only will the number one cosmic empire have to choose to submit to me, even you will have to choose to submit to me. How about it? Longao, who do you think you are? How dare you bargain with master? You don't know what death is. Hearing Longao's shameless boasting, the three eagles were completely enraged. They were furious to the extreme. They had seen their master's strength with their own eyes. With just Longao's strength, he wasn't their master's opponent. However, it was better to be safe than sorry. If their master accidentally lost a move, then they would be in big trouble. The number one cosmic empire, including their master, had all chosen to submit to Longao. It was obvious what this meant. What did this mean? If they agreed, then their master would really be a fool. Would their master agree? Bai Jing waved her hand to stop her three disciples from continuing to speak. She sneered and said, Longao, you and I are both smart people. No need to dilly-dally. I will not agree to your conditions. Won't agree? Longao smiled and didn't say anything. He just smiled. The other people of the Starry Sky Empire were looking down on Bai Jing because they knew why Bai Jing didn't dare to agree. He was afraid that Longao would cheat him. Under normal circumstances, with Longao's strength, even if he cheated, with Bai Jing's strength, he could choose to ignore it. But what was the result? Bai Jing didn't dare to agree. He had just tried to provoke him into a fight. Now, he was unwilling. Bai Jing's image instantly collapsed in everyone's mind. Was this the legendary Bai Jing? They were very disappointed. However, the other 8 cosmic empires certainly hoped to see Bai Jing make a fool of himself. No matter what, Bai Jing wasn't one of the 8 cosmic empires. He was the ancestor of the number 1 cosmic empire. He had single-handedly created the number 1 cosmic empire. Longao, not willing to listen to Bai Jing continue, Longao laughed coldly. He had a face full of mockery as he said with disdain, Bai Jing, I have also heard of your legend. Indeed, hearing about you is not as good as meeting you in person. If not for this meeting, I would have found it hard to believe that you are the legendary person in the legends. Bai Jing sighed heavily. The 3 eagles were instantly enraged. However, since their master didn't say anything, they didn't dare to say anything. They really couldn't figure out why their master didn't agree. Was it because their master was afraid of Longao? If they didn't see it with their own eyes, they wouldn't believe it. Chapter 2384. Master's strength was needless to say. The true number 1 person under the Starry Sky Ruler. Among the 9 half-step Starry Sky Rulers, Master's strength was the strongest. If it were the other 8 half-step Starry Sky Rulers, Master would be afraid. But Longao, wasn't this making a mountain out of a molehill? They couldn't figure it out. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles couldn't figure out what was going on with Master. However, the 3 Starry Sky Eagles still didn't dare to speak. Bai Jing was furious, but she didn't show the slightest difference on her face. She was suppressing the anger in her heart. The more Longao acted like this, the more Bai Jing was afraid. Because Bai Jing knew very well that Longao wouldn't act like this easily if he didn't have full confidence. After receiving the news, Bai Jing had a general understanding of Longao. Longao was an anomaly. In just a few years, he could grow to such a level. Was it just luck? She wouldn't believe it even if she was beaten to death. Intuition told Bai Jing that Longao must have a killing move. If she lost, she wouldn't even have the chance to regret it. Not only her, the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. Even she would have to submit to Longao. Seeing Bai Jing remain silent, Longao shook his head mockingly and said, Since you don't dare to accept the challenge, then I won't accompany you. Goodbye. Wait. She directly ignored him. Longao didn't take Bai Jing's words seriously. Others might be afraid of Bai Jing, but Longao didn't take her seriously. With a swoosh, without a sound, Longao disappeared without a trace. Bai Jing's face was gloomy and as ugly as it could be. Seeing Bai Jing's ugly face, no one dared to say anything. Everyone did their own thing. Some people even hid far away. Because the current Bai Jing was like a volcano that could erupt at any time. Provoking Bai Jing at this time was completely asking for trouble. Not to mention others, even the 3 Starry Sky Eagles didn't dare to breathe. After an unknown amount of time, Bai Jing said coldly, Everyone withdraw. What did this mean? The 9 starry sky empires finally joined forces. If they missed this opportunity and gave Longao enough time to breathe, when Longao became strong enough, no one would dare to make a move. Master, should we all withdraw? Of course, the 3 starry sky eagles were unwilling. They had spent a lot of effort to gather the 9 great starry sky empires to deal with the soaring dragon empire. Would they give up just like that? Bai Jing was confused by her anger just now. Of course, she knew that she couldn't let things go this way. He couldn't guard this place all the time. If he couldn't break the seal, then he would have to rely on the other 8 star empires. If the 8 starry sky empires to withdraw, then it would be. She calmed her mind. Everyone, stay to guard. Bai Jing's figure disappeared. She had lost a lot of face this time. If she continued to stay, she would become a laughing stock in the eyes of others. After Long Sky Empress, Emmerhead. His counter-challenge just now was actually a psychological battle with Bai Jing. He wasn't completely sure if Bai Jing would agree to his challenge. During this period of time, Longao had been asking about Bai Jing. In this way, he was ready to try his counter-challenge. However, he didn't expect that he was right. Bai Jing was a suspicious person. The more he was like this, the more Bai Jing didn't dare to accept the challenge. Anyway, the first batch of people were transferred out. They were the people closest to him. Nothing must happen to them. Longao didn't return to the soaring dragon bit wall immediately. The people who were transferred out must find a suitable bit wall in the shortest time possible. The bit wall they were looking for this time must be hidden enough. Because Longao was very clear in his heart that he shouldn't let Bai Jing and the others find this plane for the time being, because the next thing would be very troublesome. He had to fight against the 9 great starry sky empires alone. Without any worries, he could also go all out and do something big. There were countless bit walls in the vast starry sky. Perhaps no one knew how many bit walls there were in the vast starry sky. The 9 starry sky empires were basically the overlords of the vast starry sky. They were in charge of the entire vast starry sky. It wasn't easy to find a bit wall that was hidden from the 9 starry sky empires. Especially now, the situation was becoming more and more unfavorable for him. This was a very troublesome matter. Xiling, you have been in the vast starry sky for countless years. I believe you have a better understanding of the vast starry sky. Can you help me find a hidden bit wall? The only problem is not to be discovered by the 9 starry sky empires and by Jing. If the bit wall was discovered and he wasn't there, then things would be troublesome. This was the real reason why Longao didn't dare to casually choose a bit wall. He was sure that he could find it, but he didn't dare to say that the bit wall he found would not be discovered. Xiling certainly knew the seriousness of the matter. If it was any other matter, she could participate. But if the bit wall she chose was discovered, the consequences would be unimaginable. Longao knew what Xiling meant. Before Xiling could speak, Longao took the lead and said, Xiling, I know what you're thinking. Our relationship is clear. I don't want to say anything else. No matter what happens, it has nothing to do with you. Longao's words had already reached this point. Xiling knew that if she did not agree, it would really be a bit unreasonable. She felt helpless and didn't dare to make a decision immediately. Instead, she took Longao with her and began a large-scale search. Just as Longao said, Xiling had become the ruler of the starry sky countless years ago. She had traveled to many places with Bai Ling. The bit wall they had seen was far beyond what Longao could compare to. Longao didn't say anything. Since he chose to let Xiling choose a bit wall, then he trusted Xiling. So, no matter which bit wall Xiling chose, he would agree without hesitation. He trusted Xiling very much. No matter who it was, he believed that Xiling wouldn't harm him. About 3 days later, Xiling's expression became more and more serious. After 3 days of searching, they had searched no less than millions of bit walls. However, Xiling and Longao hadn't found a suitable bit wall. This was because the 9 great starry sky empires were too powerful. Especially with the appearance of white crystal, the other starry sky empires wouldn't dare to go against the 9 great starry sky empires. No matter which bit wall they chose, they would eventually be discovered by the 9 great starry sky empires. Longao wouldn't let a single mistake happen. Xiling also knew the seriousness of the matter, so she didn't dare to make a decision casually. Chapter 2385. Should he choose the Sky Martial Plane? Longao knew very well that if he brought the Empire to the Sky Martial Plane, no one would dare to step into the plane. When the time came, not to mention by Jing and the 9 great Starry Sky Empires, even Longmia and the other Starry Sky Dominators would not dare to casually step into the plane. However, Longao was still a little hesitant. Although entering the Sky Martial Plane could guarantee that nothing would go wrong, Longao also had his own worries. Longao was only worried about one thing, and that was that if his family entered the Sky Martial Plane, the Oracle would have a few people and it would be difficult for him to leave with the Empire, especially with the Primal Chaos Rock in the Sky Martial Continent. Once the Primal Chaos Rock broke the seal, the Sky Martial Continent would be the first to bear the brunt. After thinking about it, in the end, Longao chose to give up going to the Sky Martial Continent. Even if it was easier to be exposed outside, he still chose to go outside. How could Xiling not know about Longao's thoughts? Longao, you can't go to the Sky Martial Continent. I understand, Xiling. There's something I want to tell you. After thinking about it for a while, Longao was still prepared to tell Xiling about the Primal Chaos Rock. Xiling was very curious. She did not know what Longao meant. Why would he suddenly do this? What's the matter? Without hiding anything, Longao recounted everything that had happened before, especially the matter about the Primal Chaos Rock. He did not hide anything at all. Longao's intuition told him that the Primal Chaos Rock and the Oracle would not be so simple. Xiling was not an outsider. He should tell Xiling as soon as possible so that Xiling could be prepared. During this time, Xiling did not say a word, but her face was very serious. Of course she knew what the Primal Chaos Rock meant. A Primal Chaos Rock that came out of the Primal Chaos Source. She knew what it meant. It was very depressing. If the Oracle could really subdue the Primal Chaos Rock, then there was no doubt that even if they recovered their Starry Sky Dominators, they would not be a match for the Oracle. Longao, what do you think of this matter? Longao thought about it and said, Xiling, I know what you mean. I already went to the Martial Heaven continent. It's impossible for the God Diviner to subdue the Primal Chaos Rock unless something unexpected happens. It was a surprise. It was better to be safe than sorry. If something went wrong and the marvelous mathematician really subdued the primordial rock, then things would be really troublesome. Towards Ziling's meaning, how could Longao not know? Xiling, after settling the matters in the Empire, I will make a trip to the Tianwu continent to see if I can deal with the Primal Chaos Rock. Huh, what did that mean? Xiling knew Longao well. Once he had decided on something, he would never give up. If it had been anything else, it would have been fine. But considering the relationship between Master God Diviner and Longao, he was sure that Master God Diviner wouldn't have said anything. The only exception was the Primal Chaos Rock. The primordial rock possessed primordial chaos power. If Master God Diviner was able to subdue it, then there was no question that he would be able to truly control the primordial chaos tablet and the primordial chaos power within it. It could be said that way. The Primal Chaos Rock was the God Diviner's lifeblood. No one could touch it. Otherwise, even Longao would probably be killed. Longao, you shouldn't take this risk. You should know how important the God Diviner is to the Primal Chaos Rock. He shook his head. Xiling, I trust you know better than me just how troublesome the current situation is. Longao continued. Whether the God Diviner and I will be friends or foes in the future, no one knows. Taking a step back, if the God Diviner and I are enemies in the future, then things will be troublesome. How could Xiling not understand that? Even so, she was still very worried about Longao's safety. The God Diviner's power was clear for all to see. Let alone Longao. Even she wouldn't be a match for the God Diviner in her peak state. Before Xiling could say anything, Longao continued, if the God Diviner really subdued the Primal Chaos Rock and gained control of the Primal Chaos energy within the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, will we still have a chance to refine the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet? Even if we can refine the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet and become the ruler of the starry sky, we won't be a match for the God Diviner. How could Xiling not understand that? Longao, I also understand what you're trying to say. However, I'll still say the same thing. If you don't have absolute confidence, don't go to the Martial Heaven continent. At the very least, wait until my cultivation base is restored to the ruler of the starry sky. At that time, if we work together, our chances will be higher. All right, now isn't the time. In any case, they couldn't enter the Martial Heaven continent right now. Long Ao knew that just relying on his own power, he wouldn't be able to enter the Martial Heaven continent stealthily. Furthermore, breaking the seal without anyone noticing was practically impossible. The most important thing right now was to deal with the matter of the Empire. Bai Jing had already begun to attack the Empire. If they couldn't break the seal within a month, the Empire would be in big trouble. It was still the same thing. He couldn't give up on the Empire. Xiling and Long Chong continued to search for planes. The two of them were extremely fast, but even after searching left and right, they still couldn't find a suitable plane. The level of the plane didn't matter. The most important thing was that it was hidden. It couldn't be discovered by the 9 starry sky empires. The 9 starry sky empires' territory was too vast. The planes they found had to be far away from them. Planes were divided into 3 levels. They were the primary planes, the intermediate planes, and the advanced planes. Middle-grade realms and high-grade realms were too conspicuous. If one were to choose a low-grade realm, one could imagine the consequences. Because of this, whether it was Violet Spirit or Long Ao, they were very certain to choose a low-grade realm. Because of this, no one in the 3 realms would care about a low-grade realm. A low-level plane couldn't produce starry sky cultivators. Only cultivators from the outside world could enter a low-level plane. There were too many low-level planes. In the end, Long Ao and Xiling found a low-level plane that was extremely hidden. It was surrounded by planes. After thinking about it, they felt that the most dangerous place was the safest place. Even if you beat them to death, the 9 starry sky empires wouldn't have thought that they would choose a low-level plane. Furthermore, it was so concentrated. This way, as long as they were careful, anyone who stepped into the low-level plane would be trapped inside. In that case, it would be too difficult for the 9 starry sky empires to find their own plane. After sending everyone into the low-level plane, they began to set up the seal. Not only that, but this time, Long Ao prepared to set up a formation to ensure that nothing went wrong. Chapter 2386. Besides being a starry sky cultivator, Long Ao was also a powerful array master. He was full of confidence. The array he set up could completely withstand the attacks of starry sky immortals, and even peak starry sky immortals. As for whether it could withstand Bai Jing's attack, it was still unknown. After dealing with the first wave of people, Long Ao did not hesitate and immediately returned to the Soaring Dragon Empire. This time, Xiling did not follow. No matter what, Xiling and Long Chong stayed behind to borrow the power of the Chaos Stone Tablet to resist the enemies. No one knew what would happen in the next second. As the saying goes, caution is the parent of safety. It was better to be prepared early. Soaring Dragon Empire. Bai Jing only tried a few times and chose to give up. This was because Bai Jing could clearly sense that the seal on the Soaring Dragon bit wall had been left behind by the Starry Sky Ruler. Although she did not know why the Starry Sky Ruler wanted to help Long Ao, even if he was a half-step Starry Sky Ruler, he would not be able to break the seal left behind by the Starry Sky Ruler. No wonder dozens of peak Starry Sky Immortals could not break the seal. Long Ao used the Chaos Palace and easily returned to the Soaring Dragon Empire. No one knew. Just like that, Long Ao moved again and again. After successfully finding the plane, Long Ao of course knew that he had to move as fast as possible. Otherwise, once Bai Jing broke the seal, the consequences would be unimaginable. In just 20 days, Long Ao had successfully moved everyone. However, Long Ao did not give up. After all, there were other families in the Soaring Dragon Empire. As long as they were willing to continue to submit, they would all move. In the end, Long Ao and Xian Tong chose to leave. With the previous lesson, although Long Ao still treated Xian Tong as a friend, he still took precautions. Because he did not know if Xian Tong would be like before in the future, Xian Tong also successfully entered the lower plane. As for what happened, Xin Tong already knew. He did not ask. He did not care. If he recovered his peak strength, he might be able to intervene. But now, if he forcibly intervened, he might fail miserably. At that time, he would not even have the chance to regret. In just a month's time, the interior of the soaring dragon realm was already an empty shell. Although there were many who were unwilling to continue submitting, Longao was very understanding. However, just as Longao was about to move the rest of the people away, Bai Jing began to attack the seal again. In the past, with Xiling and Long Chong working together to strengthen the seal, Bai Jing might not have been able to break the seal in a short period of time. But now, Xiling and Long Chong had both left and returned to the low-level plane where they had just found themselves. Xiling and Long Chong's chaos tablets had already left. All that was left was the seal. With Bai Jing's power, she could easily break the seal. Bai Jing also sensed that the seal was getting thinner and thinner. He was overjoyed. Bai Jing brought tins of Pinnacle Universe Undyings and began to break the seal. There was a loud boom. Under the loud noise, the seal of the soaring dragon realm was broken. Everyone was overjoyed. With an order, everyone rushed madly into the soaring dragon empire. Bai Hua's order had been issued. In the soaring dragon realm, except for Longao's family, everyone else was to be killed. No one was left alive. The 9 great universe empires worked together. In just half an hour, the remaining people of the soaring dragon empire were all slaughtered. Under normal circumstances, even if the seal was broken, it should be impossible to kill everyone. If it was a weak empire, the consequences would be obvious. However, the 9 great universe empires did not care at all. In the vast starry sky, the 9 great universe empires were the most powerful existences. They were the overlords of the vast starry sky. Who would dare to go against the 9 great universe empires? They were simply courting death. It was exactly so. The 9 great universe empires did not care at all. Even if there were people who did not like it, they would not dare to say anything. After breaking the seal, even if Longao could leave smoothly, what about the others? As long as they captured Longao's family, Longao would be meat on the chopping board, ready to be slaughtered. Everyone was well aware of this. But in the end, when Bai Jing led everyone to the soaring dragon empire, they found no one there. What was going on? Everyone was completely dumbfounded. The soaring dragon realm was guarded by the 9 great universe empires. Tens of millions of people were guarding it. It was simply impossible to disappear under the noses of the 9 great universe empires. How did Longao do it? They could not figure it out. They really could not figure it out. No one knew what had happened. Bai Jing's face was very gloomy, as ugly as it could be. The 3 starry sky eagles and the others did not dare to say anything. It was not easy to break the seal. They did not expect Longao to come up with an empty city strategy. In this way, the 9 great universe empires' efforts would be in vain. It was still the same sentence. Bai Jing did not care about Longao's life or death. He only cared about one thing, and that was the primal chaos stone tablet. Bai Jing knew very well that since Longao could obtain 2 primal chaos stone tablets, it was definitely not simple. When the primal chaos plane descended into the vast starry sky, no one could obtain the primal chaos stone tablet. Even the 12 starry sky rulers could not do it. Only Longao obtained 2 primal chaos stone tablets. If there was nothing fishy about it, he would not believe it even if he was beaten to death. He thought that after breaking the seal, he could control the entire soaring dragon empire. At that time, Longao would not obediently submit. As long as he could obtain the primal chaos stone tablet, he would not hesitate to let Longao go. But in the end, the entire soaring dragon empire was empty. If he could not control the soaring dragon empire, and Longao had such a heaven-defying divine weapon, even if he was a half-step starry sky ruler, he would not be able to lock onto Longao's location. Endless anger. Destroy the entire soaring dragon plane. No one dared to disobey Bai Jing's words. Especially at this time, Bai Jing was obviously furious. At this juncture, no one dared to provoke Bai Jing. If Bai Jing was not happy, he could destroy everyone here at any time. The strength of a half-step starry sky ruler was not something to be trifled with. Bai Jing led everyone out of the soaring dragon bit wall. Destroying a bit wall was the most taboo in the vast starry sky. Even the 9 great starry sky empires would not do such a thing unless it was absolutely necessary. However, no one dared to disobey Bai Jing's orders. Provoking Bai Jing at this time was a path to death. Without any other choice, the dozens of peak starry sky immortals from the 9 great universe empires joined forces to destroy the soaring dragon empire. The power of dozens of peak starry sky immortals joining forces was too terrifying. Chapter 2387. There was no doubt about it. Soaring Dragon Empire didn't even last a second under the joint attack of dozens of peak starry sky immortals. Fortunately, Longao moved early. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Endless anger. Even destroying Soaring Dragon Empire wouldn't help. As long as she couldn't find Longao, she wouldn't be able to get the Primal Chaos Tablet. Bai Jing was very worried. If the other 8 half-step starry sky rulers appeared, she would be more of a hindrance. She had to end the battle quickly. However, Longao had a starry sky god tool now. It was almost impossible for her to lock onto Longao. Even if Longao was standing in front of her, she might not be able to lock onto him. If she didn't experience it herself, it would be hard to believe. For so many years, such a thing had never happened before. The only way was to control the Long family behind Longao. This way, Longao would be captured without a fight. If she wanted him to go east, he would go east. If she wanted him to go west, he would go west. Find him. No matter who it is, as long as you can find the location of Soaring Dragon Empire, I'll reward you heavily. I'll also accept you as my disciple. Bai Jing's offer was too tempting. Everything else was nonsense. Only Bai Jing as her master. Such an offer could surpass everything else. Everyone from the 9 great starry sky empires began to leave frantically because everyone couldn't wait to find the Soaring Dragon Empire. In that case, once they became Bai Jing's disciple, there was no doubt that reaching the peak starry sky immortal realm in the future would be just around the corner. At the very least, they could reach the starry sky immortal realm. Not long after, everyone around had disappeared without a trace. Only Bai Jing and the 3 starry sky eagles were left. Master, looks like Longao has already moved to Soaring Dragon Empire. We just didn't know about it. This is our mistake. She waved her hand. Bai Jing said coldly, this isn't your fault. Longao is too cunning. Looks like this kid isn't simple. He's already thought of becoming enemies with us sooner or later. Let's move to Soaring Dragon Empire first. If it's just him, he can protect himself with a starry sky god tool. With regards to Longao's meaning, Bai Jing knew clearly. She was very depressed. She actually fell for a small Longao. How could the 3 eagles not know about this matter? However, the vast starry sky was too big, and there were countless planes. Even the 9 great starry sky empires could not dominate more than 1,000th, or even 1/10,000th of it. What kind of concept was that? Trying to find the whereabouts of the Soaring Dragon Empire in the vast starry sky was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Was it even possible? The faces of the 3 starry sky eagles were very solemn. As long as they could not control the Soaring Dragon Empire, they would not be able to deal with Longao. It was so embarrassing. The 3 of you, go and make arrangements immediately. No matter what happens, you must find the location of the Soaring Dragon Empire. The 3 starry sky eagles obviously knew what their master meant. So, they didn't dare to hesitate. They immediately turned around and left. The 3 of them disappeared without a trace after a while. Only Bai Jing was left in the surrounding space. His face was very gloomy. Ever since he had risen in the vast starry sky and dominated the world, he had never encountered such a thing. If Longao was a half-step starry sky dominator, it would be fine. But Longao was just a small starry sky legend. Under normal circumstances, not to mention him, even his 3 disciples could easily destroy Longao. But what was the result? Longao had too many secrets. He also had a starry sky divine tool. Even he couldn't lock onto this starry sky divine tool. If that was the case, things would be very troublesome. What should he do? Bai Jing also had a conjecture in his heart. That was, what did the starry sky dominator behind Longao mean? Now he had two doubts. Since Longao had the starry sky dominator behind him, why didn't the starry sky dominator directly help Longao destroy the 9 great starry sky empires? Looking at Longao's actions, it seemed that the starry sky dominator behind him did not fully support him. He really couldn't figure out what was going on. Bai Jing was also not sure what the starry sky dominator behind Longao meant. Even if his cultivation had reached half-step starry sky dominator, it was still not enough to face the starry sky dominator. As long as the starry sky dominator wanted to, he could be destroyed at any time. It was very helpless. Longao was in the distance. Relying on the aura of the primal chaos palace, no one could sense his aura at all. Even Bai Jing couldn't do it. Right under his nose. If Bai Jing knew about this, he didn't know whether he would be angered to death. Although he was very confident in the low-level plane he found, and also firmly believed that the most dangerous place was the safest place, there were always accidents. If the plane was discovered by the 9 great starry sky empires, the consequences would be unimaginable. He was very worried. Longao turned around and returned to his empire. He found longing to see what to do and how to completely seal the plane. Big brother, I believe you know the current situation better than I do. In your opinion, what should we do now? Longing certainly knew the seriousness of the matter. He thought for a while and said, Seventh brother, I know what you mean. Although our plane is only a low-level plane, we still can't control it. If someone steps into our plane, although we can trap them and not let them out, after a long time, something fishy will definitely happen. In this way, sooner or later, the 9 great starry sky empires will find out. When that time comes, we will be in big trouble. Nodding, his big brother's analysis was right. This was also the thing that Longao was most helpless and worried about. Seventh brother, I've already thought about this. The only way is for us to find a hidden place on this plane and seal this place. Our people can't take a single step out. In this way, I believe that no one will be able to discover us in a short period of time. Good idea, big brother. I know what you mean. Let's not touch the plane situation. Let's keep it the same as before. Even if the 9 great starry sky empires come in, they won't find anything. Longao knew very well in his heart that in the vast starry sky, there were countless planes. Even if the 9 great starry sky empires were powerful and could find every plane, it would be too ridiculous to search every plane inside and out. Longao was almost certain that the 9 great starry sky empires couldn't do this. If that was the case, his big brother's idea was very good. Let's do it. Longao and Longying found an extremely secluded place in the low-level plain. It was surrounded by barren mountains and wilderness. It was desolate and uninhabited. Not to mention humans, even beasts could not be seen. This place was so remote that even if the 9 great starry sky empires found this place, they would not search carefully. Chapter 2388. The entire vast starry sky was in complete chaos. Under Bai Jing's command, the 9 great starry sky empires began to frantically search for the whereabouts of Longao and the soaring dragon empire. In particular, Bai Jing's offer was too tempting, no one could resist. 10 days later, the people of the 7th starry sky empire had entered the plain where Longao was. If the two did not bring the empire and chose to seal themselves, it would be difficult to escape the search of the starry sky empire. Just as Longao and Longing had guessed, there were too many planes in the vast starry sky. Even the forces of the 9 great starry sky empires could not search the planes one by one. The people of the 7th starry sky empire had chosen to leave in less than 10 minutes after entering the plane. Seventh brother, just as we guessed, the people of the 7th starry sky empire have all left. In fact, Longao was not completely sure. He did not know if they would be discovered. Until now, the two finally breathed a sigh of relief. Big brother, I believe you know what to do next. You and I will split up. You stay in the empire. No matter who it is, they are not allowed to step out of the empire. Seventh brother, what about you? Hearing his 7th brother's words, Longing was shocked. He knew his seventh brother's character very well. According to his guess, if nothing unexpected happened, his seventh brother would definitely not let it go and seek revenge from the 9 great starry sky empires. Big brother, we are always in a passive position. This is not the way to go. How could Longing not know what his seventh brother meant? It would be unrealistic to say that he was not worried. In any case, the strength of the 9 great starry sky empires was there. It was impossible to shake the 9 great starry sky empires with the strength of his seventh brother alone. Longao did not want to continue to dwell on this issue, got up and left. Longao knew very well that the 7th starry sky empire had already searched this plane. As long as he hid well, he believed that the 9 great starry sky empires would not be able to find him in a short time. Leaving the plane, Longao of course would not act rashly to deal with the 9 great starry sky empires. Although he was very confident in his strength, he still knew his limits. Not to mention dealing with the 9 great starry sky empires, he could not even deal with a random starry sky empire. He could only win with wisdom, not strength. What should he do? After thinking for a while, Longao couldn't think of a good idea. After all, everything depended on strength. Without strength, everything was just nonsense. If someone in the empire could truly refine the primal chaos tablet and become a ruler of the universe, then the White Crystal Empire and the 9 cosmic empires wouldn't be worth mentioning. However, it wasn't that easy to refine the primal chaos tablet and become the ruler of the universe. Jinwudi. Longao decided to look for Jinwudi first. After what happened last time, he and Jinwudi were no longer friends. He wanted to see how Jinwudi would explain things to him. First Starry Sky Empire. After Jinwudi betrayed Longao, he thought that the premier Starry Sky Empire would focus on nurturing him and even put him in an important position. But what was the result? After this incident, Bai Hua was very cold to him. He did not even want to see him. Even Jinwudi did not know what had happened. He wanted to see His Majesty several times, but he could not. What was going on? No matter how hard he thought about it, he couldn't figure it out. Feeling depressed, Jinwudi left the first Starry Sky Empire and wandered around. As for what Bai Hua meant, it was very simple. Jinwudi first betrayed the premier Starry Sky Empire, then betrayed Longao. Would the premier Starry Sky Empire put such a person in an important position and nurture him? It was definitely impossible, because if Jinwudi could betray once, twice, then there would be a 3rd, 4th, 5th, or even 6th, 7th, and so on. Bai Hua of course did not care about Jinwudi. Not killing him was already a blessing in disguise. In fact, Jinwudi had more or less guessed it. He regretted it. He didn't know what was going on before. Betraying Longao was simply courting death. Longao had more than one primal chaos tablet. As long as Longao didn't die, then Longao would definitely become the ruler of the universe in the future. There might even be other rulers of the universe in the Soaring Dragon Empire. What kind of concept was this? Jinwudi knew very well what it meant for the Soaring Dragon Empire to have a ruler of the universe. He was helpless. Jinwudi really regretted it. If he didn't choose to do this, then with Longao's character, he might have a chance to get the Primal Chaos Tablet in the future. Now that he thought about it, he had indeed given up on the chance. But it had already happened. Even if he regretted it, it was useless. He would take it one step at a time. Jinwudi knew that after this happened, he had to hide from Longao. Otherwise, if he met Longao, the consequences would be obvious. But the result? Jinwudi was most afraid of meeting Longao, but he had to meet him. However, Jinwudi knew that if Longao was not dead, he would definitely come to find him. He knew Longao too well. Longao, you still came. Jinwudi, you clearly know that the Primal Chaos Tablet was your choice. It has nothing to do with me. You and I are friends. Why do you have to do this? Longao was helpless. From the beginning to the end, he had always treated Jinwudi as a friend. He never thought that Jinwudi would be like this. Whether it was Jinwudi or Che Yimin, they had all chosen to betray him and the Empire because of the Primal Chaos Tablet. It seemed that he had underestimated the temptation of the Primal Chaos Tablet. Longao, if you had told me clearly, I would have sworn a blood oath to serve the Soaring Dragon Empire forever. But what about you? Did you treat me as a brother? You played dirty with me. No matter if you were willing to let me devour the primal chaos tablet or not, there is one thing you have to admit. You are not a good person. Was that really the case? If it was anything else, Longao would definitely inform him first. Only the primal chaos stone tablet was of great importance, and he could not let his guard down. He would not casually take out the primal chaos stone tablet. If that was the case, if there were any problems in the future, how would he explain it to his family? How would he explain it to the Empire? But since things had already come to this, there was no point in saying more. Longao's expression turned cold as he said coldly, Jin Wudi, I don't blame you for choosing to leave the Soaring Dragon Empire. But you joined forces with the number 1 Starry Sky Empire to kill me. If I don't take revenge, ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Before Longao could finish his words, Jin Wudi burst out laughing maniacally. Chapter 2389. He stared coldly at Jin Wudi. Longao did not say a word. It seemed that Jin Wudi did not want to admit his mistake. According to Longao's previous plan, as long as Jin Wudi admitted his mistake, he could choose to give up revenge. Jin Wudi could be heartless, but he could not be unjust. Jin Wudi, I won't kill you this time, but from now on, our brotherhood is over. The next time I see you, I will kill you. If Longao made a move, Jin Wudi would be dead for sure. How could Jin Wudi not know Longao's strength? But he was prepared to be killed. Looking at Longao's departing figure, Jin Wudi's expression changed again and again. 2 hours later, suddenly being summoned by Bai Hua, Jin Wudi was very curious. He did not know why he was summoned at this time. In the magnificent palace, Your Majesty, you are looking for me? Jin Wudi bowed respectfully. Now that he had offended Longao, if he offended the first Starry Sky Empire, he really did not know what to do. It was hard to stop halfway. Bai Hua's face was very gloomy. He nodded and said, Jin Wudi, from now on, you are no longer a member of the first Starry Sky Empire. From now on, no matter what you do, it has nothing to do with the first Starry Sky Empire. Jin Wudi instantly understood what had happened. Getting rid of the donkey after it had left the millstone. Bai Hua had used him. Although he had guessed it, he was still furious. However, Jin Wudi did not dare to say anything because with his strength, the first Starry Sky Empire could deal with him in a matter of minutes. Jin Wudi was very unwilling. He asked, Your Majesty, I want to know the reason. Bai Hua's face was full of indifference. He said coldly, Jin Wudi, you chose to betray the Empire, and now you choose to betray Longao. Do you think I want someone like you? Without waiting for Jin Wudi to speak, Bai Hua continued coldly, I won't see you off, goodbye. By the way, if you don't leave the first Starry Sky Empire, don't blame me for being impolite and killing without mercy. Killing without mercy. As the Emperor of the first Starry Sky Empire, Bai Hua had the power to kill. Jin Wudi certainly knew that Bai Hua was not joking. Anger. Endless anger. However, Jin Wudi didn't dare to say anything in the end. He slowly retreated and disappeared without a trace after a while. Only Bai Hua was left in the Grand Hall. Traitor. What's the use of keeping you alive in this world? In the next second, 2 figures dashed towards Jin Wudi at high speed. Jin Wudi was extremely depressed. Because of his recklessness, he had lost his life for nothing. Now that he definitely could not return to the Soaring Dragon Empire, and the number 1 Starry Sky Empire had chosen to give up on him, the other Starry Sky Empires would also not dare to accept him. Like a rat crossing the street, everyone wants to beat him. Indeed, one wrong step led to many wrong steps. Just as Jin Wudi left the first Starry Sky Empire and stepped out of the plane, 2 figures blocked his path. His Majesty sent you? The 2 of them didn't say anything and just nodded. In fact, Jin Wudi had already guessed that since Bai Hua had chosen to give up on him, there was no doubt that Bai Hua would kill him. However, he had never expected things to happen so quickly. The 2 of them looked indifferent. They were both Starry Sky legends who specialized in assassinating for Bai Hua. Not to mention the 2 of them working together. Even if any one of them appeared, they could easily kill Jin Wudi in minutes. There was no resistance. Anyway, He was going to die anyway. There was no point in fighting back. The two of them attacked at the same time. At this moment, a terrifying force surged and suppressed the two of them fiercely. Before the two of them could react, they were already sent flying like a kite with a broken string. Longao? Looking at Longao, who suddenly appeared in front of him, Jin Wudi was extremely shocked, because he had never thought that Longao would save him. Was this for real? If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. Longao, how dare you? Before the two of them could finish their words, Longao's figure rushed out again, and the chaos axe in his hand smashed out again and again. Longao's cultivation had successfully reached the Starry Sky legend level. When encountering experts of the same level, he could almost instantly kill them, even if it was 1 against 2. In just a few seconds, Longao had successfully killed the 2 Starry Sky legends. However, he did not devour their souls, nor did he refine them into corpse slaves. According to Longao, he wanted to show his strength to the first Starry Sky Empire. Let's go. Without giving Jin Wudi any chance to speak, Longao took Jin Wudi and disappeared without a trace. The news of Longao killing 2 Starry Sky legends reached Bai Hua's ears in a short time. After hearing it, Bai Hua and the others were furious because Longao's actions were nothing more than a provocation to the first Starry Sky Empire. It was simply intolerable. If they did not kill Longao, the first Starry Sky Empire would lose face. If they did not kill Longao, everyone would think that the first Starry Sky Empire was afraid of Longao, especially when Longao killed 2 Starry Sky legends in front of the first Starry Sky Empire. It was simply a slap to the face of the first Starry Sky Empire. In the magnificent hall, Bai Hua and the 3 Starry Sky Eagles did not dare to speak because Bai Jing was sitting quietly without any anger. However, the more Bai Jing was like this, the more it showed that Bai Jing was extremely angry. After an unknown period of time, have you found Longao? Ancestor, there is still no news of Longao's whereabouts, but according to our guess, if there is no accident, Longao should still be in the Empire, but, at this point, Bai Hua did not continue, but the meaning of his words was very clear. Everyone knew that Longao must still be in the first Starry Sky Empire, but Longao had the help of a Starry Sky God tool. Not to mention others, even Bai Jing could not locate Longao's location. This was the most troublesome thing. If he was not fearless, Longao would not dare to openly provoke the first Starry Sky Empire. It was simply courting death. Everyone finally witnessed Longao's arrogance. The first Starry Sky Empire was no longer the same as before. With the return of Bai Jing, the first Starry Sky Empire was the real overlord. The other Starry Sky Empires, including the second Starry Sky Empire, did not dare to provoke the first Starry Sky Empire. This was the deterrence of a half-step Starry Sky ruler. But even so, Longao did not seem to put the first Starry Sky Empire in his eyes. Chapter 2390. Could it be that Longao was really so confident? That wasn't necessarily the case. If Longao was really strong, he wouldn't have done everything in secret. In the end, Longao wasn't strong enough and only dared to act in secret. However, as long as Longao wasn't dead, it would always be a big problem for the first Starry Sky Empire. Bai Jing's face was gloomy and as ugly as it could get. As a half-step Starry Sky ruler and the strongest person under the Starry Sky ruler, she had encountered such a freak. She would be lying if she said she wasn't angry. She was very depressed. She had never encountered such a thing. Ancestor, what should we do now? Both Bai Hua and the 3 eagles were helpless. Even their master couldn't lock onto Longao's position, let alone them. Bai Jing said coldly, if we don't get rid of this kid, he will become a big problem for us in the future. How could the 4 not know what their master meant? They knew, but there was nothing they could do. Longao's Starry Sky Divine weapon was too powerful. They really couldn't do anything. What should they do? It was a very depressing matter. He couldn't figure out what kind of Starry Sky Divine tool Longao had. You all leave first. I need to think about it. The 3 eagles and Bai Hua got up and left. Only Bai Jing was left in the hall. It seems that I have to find the 8 of them and deal with Longao together. Originally, Bai Jing didn't want to invite the other 8 half-step starry sky rulers. After all, there were only 9 half-step starry sky rulers in the entire vast starry sky. No matter who obtained the primal chaos tablet, they would become a starry sky ruler in the shortest time possible. However, things had already come to this. Bai Jing had no choice but to summon the other 8. However, it wasn't easy to summon the 8 of them in the vast starry sky. The first plane was the largest plane in the entire starry sky. Longao took Jianwudi and left the first plane as quickly as possible. Longao, why did you save me? Jianwudi looked at Longao in front of him. He was very curious. He did not know why Longao still wanted to help him. In any case, he had betrayed Longao. If not for Longao's starry sky divine weapon, he believed that he would have been killed by the 2 starry sky legends at this moment. If it were him, would he save his enemy? That was definitely not the case. Not to mention himself, even others would not be like this. He could not figure it out. Jianwudi, you and I are friends. You are heartless, but I can't be unjust. If it weren't for you back then, I would have been in big trouble. Consider this as me paying you back. I'll say it again. We'll sever all ties. Jianwudi was filled with guilt, but since things had already come to this, he did not know what to do. Longao, not wanting to say anything more, Longao took a step forward and disappeared without a trace. Looking at Longao, who had disappeared without a trace, Jianwudi's expression changed again and again. He sighed deeply. One wrong step led to many wrong steps. The more Longao acted like this, the more guilty Jianwudi felt because he was in the wrong. But Longao still saved him. Jianwudi was too ashamed to continue living in this world. There was only one outcome if he sent himself to Bai Hua. He would be killed by Bai Hua. In the past, Bai Hua might have used Jianwudi as bait to lure Longao out. But now, Bai Hua did not do so. He knew very well that Jianwudi had betrayed Longao. Longao had saved Jianwudi's life, which was already considered extremely benevolent. Longao could not continue to attack and use Jianwudi as bait, which was a waste of time. Bai Hua deliberately released the news. Longao, who received the news, was not happy at all because he had always treated Jianwudi as a friend. It was a pity. He was neither sad nor happy. Longao did not leave the first cosmic empire. Now that the empire was safe and sound, he should take this opportunity to deal with the 9 great cosmic empires. The first cosmic empire would be the first to bear the brunt. It was impossible to deal with the 3 space eagles and Bai Jing, but Longao was ready to deal with the others. Longao's cultivation had already broken through to the Star Sky Legend realm. He could almost kill anyone below the Star Sky Immortal realm. He could even fight against a Star Sky Immortal realm expert. In the first cosmic empire, there were only 3 peak Star Sky Immortals and 1 half-step Star Sky ruler. Other than that, he could ignore everyone else in the first cosmic empire. Longao began to assassinate. Not to mention ordinary people, even Star Sky Immortals would not hesitate to attack if they encountered him. Longao did not hide his tracks. Anyway, things had already gotten to this point. Even if the first cosmic empire knew, what could they do? Bai Jing was not here, so Bai Hua and the 3 space eagles were in charge. The 4 could not understand whether Longao was crazy or not. They did not find trouble with him, but he kept provoking them. Could it be that Longao was not afraid of death? The 3 starry sky eagles and Bai Hua did not sit still and wait for death. They immediately began to issue orders and began to ban Longao. Longao had provoked them again and again under their own eyes. It was simply shameful. But what was the result? Longao kept provoking them right under the nose of the first cosmic empire, but the first cosmic empire could not do anything about it. He made the first cosmic empire lose face. Inside the palace, Human Eagle's face was full of anger. He suppressed the anger in his heart and said fiercely, "Big brother, second brother, your majesty, we can't go on like this. If we don't get rid of this person as soon as possible, it will affect us too much." Earth Eagle also said angrily, "Big brother, your majesty, third brother is right. We should think of a way to deal with Longao." Longao is provoking us on purpose. He wants to attack us. This way, we will lose face. Sky Eagle nodded his head. Regarding second brother and third brother's intentions, he was very clear. However, this matter was indeed troublesome. Even Sky Eagle did not have a good solution. He said helplessly, "Master is not here now. Longao keeps provoking us. Just like you said, if we don't get rid of him as soon as possible, it will affect us too much. Longao has the help of a cosmic god weapon. He was unwilling to continue, because Sky Eagle felt aggrieved at the thought of this. A dignified cosmic immortal was actually pushed to such a state by Longao. Even his master could not deal with Longao. If he did not see it with his own eyes, he would not believe it. At this time, Bai Hua suddenly said, "The three of you, why don't we take a risk?" Chapter 2391. What did this mean? The three eagles didn't know what Bai Hua meant. What did he mean by taking a risk? They couldn't figure it out. Did Bai Hua have a way to deal with Longao? Earth Eagle couldn't wait to ask, "Your Majesty, do you have a way to deal with Longao?" As long as Longao was alive, it would be a great insult to the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. As long as they could kill Longao, it would be worth it no matter what price they had to pay. Especially at this time. Master wasn't around. If they successfully killed Longao while Master was away, they could imagine what would happen when Master came back. In the end, the three eagles still wanted to flatter Bai Hua. Bai Hua nodded and said, "The three of you, our number 1 Starry Sky Empire once obtained a secret realm. As long as we can lure Longao into it, even if he has 3 heads and 6 arms, he won't be able to leave alive." No. The three of them instantly knew what His Majesty meant, but Sky Eagle didn't even think about it and directly refused. It was a joke. The three of them knew very well what this secret realm meant. "The three of you, I know what you mean, but think about it. Since Longao dared to provoke us, he must be fearless. Even old ancestor couldn't lock onto Longao's position, let alone us." Hearing this, the three eagles' faces were gloomy to the extreme. How could the three eagles not know what Bai Hua meant? They couldn't wait to kill Longao immediately and tear him into pieces, but could they do it? The old ancestor definitely has no other way. According to my guess, if nothing unexpected happens, the old ancestor left this time to think of a way to destroy Longao. The three eagles nodded in agreement because they had already guessed that Master left this time because of Longao. "Your Majesty, you have to know that if we use the power of the secret realm and fail to kill Longao, we won't be able to answer to Master. This secret realm was obtained by Bai Jing. If it could be used, Bai Jing would have used it. Why wait until now?" In the end, the three eagles chose to give up. Bai Hua alone, even if he was the emperor of the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, he still couldn't make the decision. Longao continued to stay in the number 1 Starry Sky Empire and didn't leave. Kill. With Longao's strength, if he tried to assassinate someone, then the result would be very terrifying. Because other than the 3 Space Eagles and Bai Hua, no matter who it was, even if it was a Space Undying, Longao would still kill them. Just like this, the number 1 Starry Sky Empire was in danger. Because no one knew when Longao would appear, a pervert who could even kill a universe undying in one move. One could imagine the consequences. If it was in the past, no one would have believed that someone would do such a thing. Things had already turned out this way. Everyone thought that Longao would definitely hide after such a thing happened. After all, the number 1 Starry Sky Empire and the other 8 Starry Sky Empires were looking for Longao everywhere. Under such circumstances, Longao not only didn't hide, but also took the initiative to provoke the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. What was Longao trying to do? Was Longao really looking for death? Many people in the number 1 Starry Sky Empire were assassinated. Under normal circumstances, Longao should have been killed by the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. But the result? For so long, the number 1 Starry Sky Empire couldn't even find a hair of Longao, let alone kill him. It was simply a pain in the ass. Today's number 1 Starry Sky Empire was completely different. With the return of Bai Jing, The number one starry sky empire was a real overlord, dominating the vast starry sky. Even so, Bai Jing still couldn't lock onto Longao. The entire number one starry sky empire was in a state of panic. No one knew if the next target would be them. If it was them, with Longao's strength, how many people could compete with him? The number one starry sky empire had already lost 2 starry sky legends. In addition to the previous 2, the number one starry sky empire had lost a total of 4 starry sky legends. What did that mean? If that was all, it would be fine. On the second day, the news of the number one starry sky empire's starry sky immortal had spread throughout the vast starry sky. Everyone was shocked when they heard the news, because no one thought that Longao really killed a starry sky immortal. Starry sky immortals were the most powerful people in the vast starry sky. Not to mention other starry sky immortals. Even the 9 starry sky empires couldn't afford to lose a starry sky immortal. Longao's actions had thoroughly shocked the entire vast starry sky. Being able to kill a starry sky immortal meant that Longao's cultivation base had smoothly broken through to the starry sky immortal realm. Everyone knew about his talent. It wouldn't take long for him to break through from the starry sky immortal realm to the limit of the starry sky immortal realm. If that was the case, things would be really troublesome. If that was the case, then in the entire number one starry sky empire, except for ancestor Bai Jing, no one would be a match for Longao. Because of Longao, the entire starry sky was in complete chaos. Since ancient times, Longao was probably the first person to do so. After leaving for a few days, Bai Jing returned smoothly. However, Bai Jing was depressed to the extreme because he didn't find the other 8 half-step starry sky rulers. It seemed that it was difficult to locate Longao by relying on his own strength. Bai Jing, of course, knew why the other 8 couldn't find it. Given the current situation, there is no other way. At this point, Bai Jing did not continue, but the meaning of her words was very clear. Whether it was Bai Hua or the 3 starry sky eagles, they were all very clear about their master's intentions. No matter who it was, this kind of thing would definitely be very painful. The 4 of them didn't dare to speak. Regarding the mystic realm, no one had the final say. Only Master could make the decision. If we don't handle this well, once the secret realm is destroyed, our first starry sky empire will be finished. What did the empire have to do with the secret realms? The 4 of them couldn't figure it out. They didn't know what their master meant. If it was in the past, Bai Jing would definitely not reveal the secret of the mystic realm. However, things had already come to this. Especially at this time, even if she wanted to hide it, she was afraid that she could not do so. Fortunately, the 4 people here were all on the same side. Do you know what a secret realm is? The 4 of them shook their heads at the same time and said in unison, "We don't know." The 4 of them were very excited, because the secret realm was the biggest secret of the first starry sky empire. Intuition told them that this secret was absolutely not simple. Otherwise, the secret realm would not have been a forbidden area for so many years. Except for their master, no one else could take half a step inside, including the 3 starry sky eagles and Bai Hua. Looking at the secret realm in front of them, Bai Jing said helplessly, "Countless years ago, the 9 of us rose at the same time. Although we are very talented, it was almost impossible for us to break through to the half-step starry sky ruler. At most, we could only reach the peak starry sky immortal realm." What did this mean? The 4 of them became more and more curious, not knowing what was going on. However, the 4 of them were not fools. Hearing their master's words, the 4 of them guessed that their master's breakthrough to the half-step starry sky ruler seemed to have something to do with the so-called secret realm. If this was the case, the 4 of them could also break through to the half-step starry sky ruler with the help of the secret realm. As if she could guess what the 4 of them were thinking, Bai Jing shook her head and said, "The 9 great secret realms can only help 9 people break through to the half-step starry sky ruler. The others have no chance." So that was it. In the vast starry sky, there is no such thing as a half-step starry sky ruler. Above the peak starry sky immortal realm is the true starry sky ruler. Back then, the 9 of us obtained the 9 great secret realms in the heart of the secret realms. That's why we were able to touch the primal chaos force. However, without devouring the primal chaos stone tablets, there is no way to obtain the primal chaos force. The primal chaos force and the primal chaos stone tablets, for the 4 of them, were too far away. The 9 great secret realms were divided into the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th secret realms. The corresponding realms. Bai Jing obtained the 1st secret realm, the 2nd Starry Sky Empire's old ancestor obtained the 2nd secret realm, the 3rd Starry Sky Empire's old ancestor obtained the 3rd secret realm, the 4th Starry Sky Empire's old ancestor obtained the 5th secret realm, the 6th Starry Sky Empire's old ancestor obtained the 6th secret realm, the 7th Starry Sky Empire's old ancestor obtained the 8th secret realm, and the 9th Starry Sky Empire's old ancestor obtained the 9th secret realm, and so on and so forth. The 1st secret realm that Bai Jing obtained, and the one who became a half-step cosmic ruler, was the strongest, and the 9 of them were ranked according to their strength. They established the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th cosmic empires in that order. I was lucky enough to obtain the 1st secret realm. Not only did I use the heart of the secret realm to break through to the half-step Starry Sky Ruler, but I also gained control of the 1st secret realm. As long as Longao enters my 1st secret realm, even if he has a Starry Sky divine weapon, he won't be able to leave alive. How could the 4 of them not know this? This was the real reason why Bai Hua insisted on using the 1st secret realm to deal with Longao. Chapter 2393. Even with the number 1 secret realm, it would not be easy to kill Longao. Longao was not a fool. He would not casually step into the number 1 secret realm. What should he do? After a few days of cultivation, with Bai Jing's help, Bai Hua's cultivation level successfully broke through to the peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm. This way, the number 1 cosmic empire had 4 peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm experts. What kind of concept was this? Even without Bai Jing, the number 1 cosmic empire could still suppress the other empires, including the number 2 cosmic empire. Master, how should we lure Longao into the number 1 secret realm? This was the most difficult thing to do. Under such circumstances, forget about Longao. It was believed that no matter who it was, they would not casually step into the number 1 secret realm. Bai Jing also knew what Bai Hua meant. Her face was gloomy. This was indeed a difficult thing to do. Number 1 cosmic empire, another intermediate level plane. Longao was sitting cross-legged quietly, and he had been calmly cultivating. His cultivation level had successfully broken through to the Starry Sky Legend realm. He was only 1 step away from reaching the Starry Sky Immortal realm. However, this step was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. The current situation was very serious. Longao was very clear that if his cultivation level could improve further and break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm, he would be able to fight against a peak Starry Sky Immortal realm expert. As for whether he could kill a peak Starry Sky Immortal realm expert, it was still unknown. After cultivating for 3 whole days, there was still no sign of a breakthrough. It could be said that he was extremely depressed. Inside the Primal Chaos Palace, looking at the Primal Chaos Seal in his hand, Longao could not understand. This Primal Chaos Seal did not seem to have any other uses besides being hard. However, Longao's intuition told him that this Primal Chaos Seal was definitely not simple. He tried to sense the Primal Chaos Seal in his hand, but there was still no reaction. Very helpless, Longao kept the Primal Chaos Seal. If the mysterious power appeared in the Primal Chaos Palace again, he believed that his cultivation level could quickly break through again. Not to mention breaking through from the Starry Sky Legend realm to the Starry Sky Immortal realm. Even breaking through from the Starry Sky Legend realm to the peak Starry Sky Immortal realm was not impossible. This was the terror of the mysterious power. However, the most depressing thing for Longao was that the mysterious power in the Primal Chaos Palace would not appear casually. In the end, or was it because he had yet to truly control the Primal Chaos Palace? Longao could even assert. If he could truly control the Primal Chaos Palace, Not only would he be able to borrow the mysterious power to quickly break through his cultivation base, he could even help others break through their cultivation base. If that was the case, it would be extremely beneficial for him. Could this mysterious force be the legendary chaotic force? Longao wasn't sure if his guess was correct. If that was the case, then it would be very beneficial to him. Longao did not choose to give up. He was still trying to find a way to draw out the mysterious power. Whether or not he could break through in the shortest amount of time was all dependent on the mysterious power. Breaking through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm, or even the peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm, or even the legendary half-step Starry Sky Ruler Realm, was too difficult. It would take at least 80 to 100 years to achieve it. Just as Longao was about to continue assassinating the people of the first Starry Sky Empire, he encountered a very mysterious person. Although he could not sense the other party's true strength, Longao could still clearly feel that the other party's strength was probably not to be underestimated. At the very least, he was a Starry Sky Immortal Realm expert, or even a peak Starry Sky Immortal Realm expert. You're Longao? The other party knew him? Hearing the other party call his name, Longao was very wary, but he still nodded and said, "Yes, how should I address you?" Gongsun-he. Gongsun-he? He did not know Gongsun-he. At this moment, a thought suddenly flashed through his mind. Because among the 9 great Starry Sky Empires, the ancestor of the 3rd Starry Sky Empire seemed to be called Gongsun-he. The 3rd Starry Sky Empire? Seeing the other party nod, Longao was very surprised. He did not know why Gongsun-he had come to find him. There was no doubt that Gongsun-he had come to find him. Gongsun-he was a super existence that could look down on white crystal. Back then, 9 monstrous geniuses had appeared in the vast starry sky. In just a few hundred years, they had already become half-step starry sky rulers. One could imagine how powerful a half-step starry sky ruler was. "Why are you looking for me?" Gongsun-he smiled and said, "Longao, I already know about your matter. I can tell you that from now on, the 3rd Starry Sky Empire will no longer oppose you. As for the grudges between you and the 1st Starry Sky Empire, the 2nd Starry Sky Empire, and the other Starry Sky Empires, I will do my best to help you." "Do your best to help me?" Longao was not surprised at all. As the saying goes, there is no free lunch in the world. He and Gongsun-he did not know each other at all. Unless Gongsun-he was full and had nothing to do otherwise, how could he help him casually? As if he could guess Longao's thoughts, Gongsun-he smiled and said, "Longao, you don't have to do this. The reason I help you is also to help me." "What do you mean?" Longao was still very vigilant. With Gongsun-he's identity and strength, he could not just listen to the other party's side of the story and join forces with Gongsun-he casually. "Longao, let's put it this way. The reason why I'm helping you is because firstly, Bai Jing and I aren't very harmonious. Initially, the 9 of us established our own Starry Sky Empire, and we couldn't wait to annex the other Starry Sky Empire. However, among the 9 of us, Bai Jing's strength is the most powerful. Even if we don't take action, Bai Jing will take action sooner or later. Rather than that, it's better for us to take action first." Longao did not speak, but he believed Gongsun-he's words. The 9 of them had established 9 Starry Sky Empires at the same time. If someone said that there was no estrangement, even if you beat him to death, he would not believe it. Moreover, he was sure that the 9 of them all wanted to annex each other's empires. Second, and the most important reason I am looking for you. I believe you already know about my situation. To be honest, my cultivation base has smoothly broken through to the half-step Starry Sky Dominator level. If I want to take another step forward and become a Starry Sky Dominator, I will need to devour the Primal Chaos Tablets. However, in the vast universe, the Primal Chaos Tablets are all occupied by the 12 Starry Sky Dominators. It is almost impossible for us to obtain them. Was it because of the Primal Chaos Tablets? Longao had already guessed that Gongsun-he came to him this time not to help him, but to obtain the Primal Chaos Tablets. As Gongsun-he said, if they wanted to continue breaking through, they would need to devour the Primal Chaos Tablets. Chapter 2394. Gong Sun He, I don't have a primal chaos stone tablet. I know. Of course, Gong Sun He knew about the primal chaos plane and the 12 primal chaos stone tablets. Longao had acquired 2 primal chaos stone tablets. Otherwise, Gong Sun He wouldn't have come. Countless years ago, there were only 12 primal chaos stone tablets in the vast universe, and they were all occupied by the 12 stellar dominators. Even if the 9 of them acquired the 9 secret realms and broke through to the half-step stellar dominator level, without devouring the primal chaos stone tablets, they wouldn't be able to become a stellar dominator. The 9 of them searched for countless years, but they still hadn't found a single primal chaos stone tablet. Now that the primal chaos plane had suddenly descended, and 12 primal chaos stone tablets had appeared, the 9 of them had been overjoyed. But in the end, with the 12 stellar dominators standing guard, the 9 of them naturally didn't dare to casually enter the primal chaos plane. The 9 half-step stellar dominators had thought that the 12 primal chaos stone tablets would definitely be taken by the stellar dominators. But in the end, because the primal chaos plane had collapsed, the 12 primal chaos stone tablets had all been scattered everywhere. Even now, no one knew where they were. Of the 12 primal chaos stone tablets, only Longao had acquired 2 of them. Gong Sun He didn't say anything, but Longao knew what he meant. Gong Sun He, I already know what you mean. Longao still had some faith in Gong Sun He. If Gong Sun He was just trying to trick him, then he wouldn't say anything at all. He would just leave. To tell you the truth, of the 12 primal chaos stone tablets that appeared in the primal chaos plane, I do have a way to acquire a few of them. However, Longao naturally wouldn't be so stupid as to tell Gong Sun He the truth. A look of helplessness appeared on his face. Longao said helplessly, even though I acquired 2 primal chaos stone tablets, I wasn't able to devour them. Not only that, but the 2 primal chaos stone tablets left on their own. This wasn't a secret. Virtually everyone in the universe knew about it. Gong Sun He didn't doubt it in the slightest. When Longao told him the truth, he actually relaxed. Longao, I came to find you this time mainly for the primal chaos stone tablets. The 12 primal chaos stone tablets are scattered everywhere. Since you can obtain 2 primal chaos stone tablets, you can also obtain the other primal chaos stone tablets. Gong Sun He was overjoyed to the extreme. He didn't need a few primal chaos stone tablets. He only needed to devour one. Longao, as long as I can devour a primal chaos stone tablet, I will do my best to help you devour a primal chaos stone tablet. How about it? Longao did not agree. Similarly, he did not refuse. Gong Sun He, I understand what you mean. If we can find the primal chaos tablet, I can try and see if we can obtain it. But right now, we can't even find the primal chaos tablet. So how can we try? This was the biggest problem. Longao naturally wouldn't tell Gong Sun He that he had already obtained 12 chaos stone tablets. If this matter were to be leaked out, not to mention Gong Sun He believed that no one would let him off, especially Master God Diviner and the others. Gong Sun He had a helpless look on his face. But then he smiled and said, "It's okay for now. As long as the 12 rulers of the universe don't get the 12 chaos tablets, we still have a chance." Searching for a primal chaos stone tablet was not something that could be easily found. Luck played a large part in it. If strength alone was enough to find the primal chaos tablet, then there was no doubt that no one would have a chance. The 12 rulers of the starry sky would have been able to take care of it. All right, I can promise you. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha. Instantly, the 2 of them came to an agreement. Longao, I have a rough understanding of the matter between you and Bai Jing. I stand by my words. This time around, I will help you with all my might. Not only me, but even the entire 3rd Starry Sky Empire will help you with all their might. Just at this moment, a figure suddenly appeared. Longao could clearly sense that this person who had appeared out of nowhere was a pinnacle Starry Sky Undying. The 9 Starry Sky Empires, other than the 9 half-step Starry Sky Undying, all of them had pinnacle Starry Sky Undying. The 1st Starry Sky Empire had 3 pinnacle Starry Sky Undying. The 2nd Starry Sky Empire had 2 pinnacle Starry Sky Undying. As for the 3rd to 9th Starry Sky Empires, they only had 1 pinnacle Starry Sky Undying. And the 3rd Starry Sky Empire's pinnacle Starry Sky Undying was the Emperor, Gongsun Ao. Longao, let me introduce you. This is the emperor of my empire, Gongsun Ao. How could Longao not know what Gongsun he meant? Many thanks. Longao was clear of his own situation. If it were just him alone, wanting to take down the number 1 Starry Sky Empire was practically a nonsensical task. Even if the number 1 Starry Sky Empire did not have Bai Jing holding the fort, it would still be impossible. But with the help of the 3rd Starry Sky Empire and Gongsun He, the situation was completely different. Even though the 3rd Starry Sky Empire was not as strong as the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, its strength was not to be underestimated either. Longao, tell me, how do you need me to help you? Gongsun Ao naturally knew of the current situation. If it were anyone else, he would not even bother about them. But Longao was someone who could challenge the number 1 Starry Sky Empire and disregard Bai Jing. Just thinking about it, one could imagine the capabilities of this person. There was not a single bit of contempt. Chapter 2395. Longao's meaning was simple. It would be difficult to destroy the alliance of the 8 great cosmic empires with just a few million corpse slaves. However, if they could join forces with the 3rd great cosmic empire, the situation would be completely different. Gongsun Ao couldn't make a decision on this matter. He looked at the old ancestor in front of him. Gongsun Ao didn't even think about it and agreed. Go back and prepare immediately. I'll give you 1 day to attack the 1st great cosmic empire. Longao waved his hand. Longao, what's wrong? Longao said with a smile, there's no rush for now. According to my guess, if nothing unexpected happens, Bai Jing and the 1st great cosmic empire will deal with me first. I'll take them down first. So that's how it is. Thinking of this, Gongsun he was very depressed, because even he didn't know how Longao did it. A peak cosmic immortal couldn't lock onto Longao's position. Even a half-step cosmic dominator couldn't lock onto Longao's position. If even Bai Jing couldn't do it, didn't it mean that he couldn't lock onto Longao's position either? Under normal circumstances, he shouldn't have asked, but Gongsun he was very curious. Longao, there's something I don't know if I should ask. There was no need to ask. Longao had already guessed what Gongsun he wanted to ask. To be honest, the biggest reason why Bai Jing and the others couldn't lock onto me is because I have a heaven-defying cosmic divine weapon. Apart from the 12 dominators, others, including half-step dominators, can't lock onto my position. Gongsun he didn't have the slightest doubt. After all, the truth was in front of him. Gongsun he didn't ask too much because he knew very well that if Longao wanted to tell him, he would tell him without asking. If Longao didn't want to tell him, it would be nonsense even if he asked. Longao, don't be too confident. Once Bai Jing uses the 1st secret realm, you'll be in big trouble. The 1st secret realm? What was that? Longao was very curious. He did not know what the number 1 secret zone that Gongsun he was talking about was. However, judging by the look on Gongsun he's face, this so-called number 1 secret zone must be very scary. Longao, you might not know this, but the reason why the 9 of us were able to rise to half-heavenly dominator realm was because we found the secret realm and devoured its heart. The secret of the 9 people. If that was the case, there was no doubt that this secret realm was very powerful. Longao didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. Back then, when the 9 of us obtained the 9 great secret realms, they were the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th secret realms. As for me, I obtained the 3rd secret realm. Therefore, among the 9 people, my strength is ranked 3rd. So that was the case. This was a secret that very few people knew about. Longao also wanted to see what this so-called secret realm was. It could actually help 9 people break through to the half-step Starry Sky Ruler realm. However, Longao didn't ask much. There was no doubt that the secret realm was the 9 people's biggest secret. Even if he asked, he believed that Gongsun he wouldn't tell him. This was similar to how he wouldn't tell anyone about the Primal Chaos Palace. Until now, we still haven't figured out the secret realm. However, The nine of us know very well that the secret realm is the key to finding the primal chaos tablet. Longao didn't care about this. Whether or not it was related to the primal chaos tablet, it had nothing to do with him. Gong's son, he continued, Longao, I know the power of the secret realm best. If Bai Jing uses it against you, you will be in big trouble. What should I do? Come, let's go meet Bai Jing. Nodding, Longao didn't refuse. The two turned and left. Gong's son Ao shrugged helplessly. Even now, he didn't understand why the old ancestor would help Longao. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. However, since it was the old ancestor's decision, Gong's son Ao didn't dare to say anything. Just as Gong's son he had guessed, Bai Jing was preparing to use the power of the secret realm to deal with Longao. For so many years. Although Bai Jing had left, she didn't take the secret realm with her. She was afraid that something would happen to the number 1 Starry Sky Empire after she left. With the protection of the secret realm, unless it was the 12 Starry Sky rulers, no one could destroy the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. Unless there was no other choice, Bai Jing wouldn't casually use the secret realm. However, the situation now was completely different. If she didn't use the secret realm to deal with Longao, then things would be really troublesome. If she couldn't lock onto Longao's location, what would happen to the number 1 Starry Sky Empire's face? What would happen to her face? After thinking about it, Bai Jing ultimately decided to use the power of the secret realm to deal with Longao. Outside the first plane. Bai Jing, get out here. As soon as Gong's son He's voice sounded, Bai Jing, the 3 Starry Sky Eagles, and Bai Hua all rushed out. When they saw Longao and Gong's son He standing beside Longao, their faces darkened. Even if they were fools, they knew what was going on. Bai Jing sneered and said, Gong's son He, you know the grudge between me and Longao. Since you're helping Longao, it seems you want to be my enemy. You don't take me seriously. The 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers were fighting openly and secretly. They all wanted to kill each other. However, because of the primal chaos steels, the 9 of them were searching for the primal chaos steels and hadn't had time to fight each other. Bai Jing wasn't a fool. Of course, she knew what Gong's son He meant. He wanted to build a good relationship with Longao and use Longao's power to obtain the primal chaos steels. He was truly a shameless Gong's son He. Among the 9 of them, Gong's son He was the most vicious and the most shameless. Bai Jing also said that she wanted to find the other 8 to work together to deal with Longao. However, she couldn't find them. It seemed Gong's son He was deliberately avoiding her, so that she could take the primal chaos steels for herself. Bai Jing, I can't stand the grudge between you and Longao. You're bullying the weak. You're a half-step Starry Sky ruler, but you're bullying a junior. I feel ashamed for you. Bai Jing, you'd better not use the power of the secret realm. Otherwise, I'll have to use the 3rd secret realm to deal with you. Bai Jing was very surprised. She never thought that Gong's son He would want to shed all pretense of cordiality with her because of Longao. It seemed her guess was right. Gong's son He was indeed after the primal chaos steels. Otherwise, Gong's son He wouldn't do this even if she beat him to death. Shameless, shameless to the extreme. Chapter 2396. It would be a lie if he said he wasn't afraid. Even though Bai Jing's strength was ranked 1st and Gong's son He's 3rd, Gong's son He's strength was ranked 1st. However, the difference in power between the 9 wasn't that great. If Gong's son He really used the power of the 3rd secret realm, he could defend himself, but could the Empire do the same? It was very depressing. Gong's son He, you and I are both smart people. There are some things that we both know. You're helping Longao because you want to take the Chaos Tablet for yourself? Isn't that a bit too shameless? Longao didn't say anything. Gong's son He laughed coldly. Bai Jing, if you want to sow discord, you have to look at the person. I'm not afraid to tell you that I'm helping Longao because of the Chaos Tablet. So what? Seeing Gong's son He admit it so openly, Bai Jing and the others were completely shocked. Longao knew that Gong's son He would do this. Why was he still willing? Did he want to borrow Gongsun He's power to deal with him and the number one cosmic empire? That was simply nonsense. Longao, I've said it before. As long as you help me take the Chaos Tablet, not only will the grudge between us be written off, but I'll also help you with all my strength. Your soaring dragon empire will become the number one cosmic empire in the vast universe. How about it? For the Chaos Tablet, he could choose to compromise. However, things had already turned out this way. Would Long Ao still choose Bai Jing? Although Gongsun He was very shameless and ruthless, Long Ao would rather choose to join forces with Gongsun He than join forces with Bai Jing. Long Ao smiled and said coldly, Bai Jing, I can help you find the Chaos Tablet, but I have 3 conditions. As long as you agree to them, we can work together. Gongsun He didn't say anything. He just watched quietly. Intuition told him that Long Ao wouldn't compromise. Otherwise, things wouldn't have come to this. Bai Jing smiled and said, No problem. No matter what the conditions are, I'll agree to them. For the Chaos Tablet, she could give up everything. Bai Jing's cultivation had already reached the half-step cosmic ruler level. She was only 1 step away from becoming a cosmic ruler. However, it was almost impossible for him to break through at this step. The only way was to take the Chaos Tablet. However, the 12 Chaos Tablets were still missing. Even the 12 cosmic rulers couldn't find them, much less herself. According to the current situation, Long Ao was the key. Previously, when the Primal Chaos Plane had opened, none of the 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets had been obtained. Only Long Ao had obtained a Primal Chaos Stone Tablet twice. What did that mean? Even an idiot could guess that if Long Ao didn't have a way, he couldn't have obtained them twice. If that wasn't the case, then Bai Jing's Azuzes. Since you're so straightforward, I'll be straightforward too. A wise man submits to circumstances. If you go against the number one cosmic empire, the only thing awaiting you is death. The 3 space eagles and Bai Hua weren't angry at all. Instead, they were happy. They could finally heave a sigh of relief. If their master really agreed to Long Ao's conditions, then the 4 of them would be in for a bad time. However, the 4 of them didn't dare to show their relief. If their master were to find out, they would be in big trouble. Bai Jing, cut the crap. Just tell me if you agree. If you do, I'll help you find the Chaos Tablet. If you don't, then I'm sorry, but we'll still have to fight to the death. By then, I'll definitely destroy your number one cosmic empire. Looking at Long Ao's determined expression, Bai Jing's face turned darker and darker. Unless it was absolutely necessary, he didn't want to fight to the death. Chapter 2397. It was still the same sentence. Bai Jing didn't care about Long Ao's life or death at all. He only cared about one thing, and that was the Primal Chaos Steel. If he really killed Long Ao, it wouldn't be easy to find the Primal Chaos Steel. What Bai Jing was really afraid of were the 12 rulers of space, because he didn't know when the 12 rulers of space would act against the 9 of them. Although half-step rulers of space stood at the peak of the vast universe, they weren't even worth a fart in front of a ruler of space. Seeing that their master didn't speak, the 3 eagles and Bai Hua were depressed, not knowing what their master meant. Was their master afraid of Long Ao? That was complete nonsense. With their master's status and strength, not to mention Long Ao, their master wouldn't be afraid of other half-step rulers of space. Bai Jing didn't dare to speak, the 3 eagles didn't dare to speak, and Bai Hua didn't dare to speak either. Long Ao, do you really want to fight to the death? Long Ao smiled. Gongsun He also smiled. Bai Jing, don't be so shameless. Brother Long has already made it very clear. You can choose to submit, or you can choose to shed all pretense of cordiality and fight to the death. Don't tell me that you're afraid. Before, it was Long Ao, now it was Brother Long. The way Gongsun He addressed him was enough to explain the problem. Gongsun He couldn't wait for Long Ao and Bai Jing to fall out. That way, he would be able to obtain the Primal Chaos Steel. Gongsun He, this has nothing to do with you. If you know what's good for you, you'd better scram. Otherwise, what do you want? Gongsun He sneered, not putting Bai Jing in his eyes at all. Although Bai Jing was the strongest of the 9 half-step rulers, and he was at most third. The gap between them wasn't as big as one would imagine. It was almost impossible for Bai Jing to kill Gongsun He. If the 9 half-step rulers of space could destroy each other, Bai Jing would have dominated the vast universe long ago. Why wait until now? In the end, Bai Jing still didn't have the strength to kill other half-step starry sky rulers. Looking at Longao and Gongsun He in front of her, Bai Jing's face became more and more gloomy. He knew very well that Gongsun He had nothing to fear. Otherwise, Gongsun He and Longao would not have dared to appear here. Bai Jing, you want to use the first secret realm? He was not surprised at all. Bai Jing already knew that since Longao knew about the first secret realm, it must have been Gongsun He who told him. Humph. He snorted coldly. Bai Jing laughed coldly and said, Longao, since you already know about the first secret area, I'll tell you the truth. If I use the first secret area, do you think you can leave this place alive? Bai Jing was very confident that she possessed the number 1 secret realm. There were a total of 9 secret realms in the vast starry sky. The first secret realm was the most powerful, and Bai Jing had devoured the heart of the first secret realm. That was how she had become a half-step starry sky dominator, becoming the leader of the 9 and establishing the first starry sky empire. It would be a lie to say that she wasn't afraid. Longao had already heard Gongsun He talk about the 9 great mystic realms. The 9 great mystic realms were similar to the primal chaos stone tablets, but they weren't as strong. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. The 9 wouldn't have used the power of the 9 secret realms to become half-step starry sky dominators. Before Longao could speak, Gongsun He said with a smile, Bai Jing, you don't have to use the first secret realm to scare people. You have the first secret realm, and I have the third. Do you think your first secret realm can suppress my third secret realm? There was no way to suppress it. Perhaps the power of the first secret realm was slightly above the power of the third secret realm. However, it was impossible for the first secret realm to completely suppress the third secret realm. How could Bai Jing not know about this? If there was no Gongsun He, and it was just Longao, she could use the power of the first secret realm to deal with Longao. But now, the situation was completely different. Gongsun He also had the third secret realm. If she used the first secret realm to deal with Longao, then Gongsun He would undoubtedly help Longao. The current situation was in a deadlock. Brother Long, why don't we leave first? Okay. Longao and Gongsun He were very clear about Bai Jing and the power of the first secret realm. It was almost impossible to kill Bai Jing. So, even if they continued to stay, there was not much meaning. Just as the two were about to turn and leave. At this time, Bai Hua suddenly said, Gongsun He, Longao, take care. Gongsun He's expression instantly turned cold, and his voice was filled with killing intent as he said, Bai Hua? Who do you think you are? How dare you call me by my name? Don't think you can do whatever you want with Bai Jing backing you up. I don't believe Bai Jing can protect you forever. I want to kill you. At this point, Gongsun He did not continue speaking, but the meaning in his words was already very clear. A half-step starry sky ruler could kill a peak starry sky immortal in a matter of minutes. Just as Gongsun He had said, unless Bai Jing was constantly protecting Bai Hua. If Bai Jing was even the slightest bit lax, Gongsun He would be able to kill Bai Hua. It was easy to imagine what would happen. Presumptuous. Hearing the old ancestor's presumptuous words, Bai Hua instantly understood the old ancestor's meaning. He smiled and said, Senior Gongsun, I made a mistake just now. Sorry for offending you. Bai Hua was still afraid. He knew the old ancestor couldn't protect him all the time. If Gongsun He wanted to kill him, there were too many opportunities. Gongsun He said disdainfully, Bai Hua, you better show some respect. As the emperor of the first starry sky empire, Bai Hua's face was completely lost. However, things had already come to this, so he could only endure. Suppressing the anger in his heart, Bai Hua smiled and said, Senior Gongsun. Gongsun He waved his hand impatiently and said coldly, Bai Hua, I don't want to hear any more nonsense. As for you and Bai Jing, I'll say it right here. From now on, The Third Starry Sky Empire and the Soaring Dragon Empire will form an alliance. Alliance? Hearing Gong Sunhee's words, everyone was furious. The five of them knew very well what it meant. They might not care about the Soaring Dragon Empire, but the concept of joining the Third Starry Sky Empire was completely different. It seemed that Gong Sunhee was determined to become the enemy of the First Starry Sky Empire. This matter was indeed troublesome. If the two empires joined forces, the First Starry Sky Empire would be in a passive position. Chapter 2398. He watched as Longao and Gong Sunhee left. Finally, Bai Jing still didn't make a move because he was very wary of Gong Sunhee. In terms of strength, he couldn't completely suppress Gong Sunhee. In terms of secret realms, his first secret realm couldn't suppress Gong Sunhee's third secret realm. If he made a move now, not only would he not be able to deal with the two, it might even backfire. It was very depressing. As a dignified half-step starry sky ruler, he had now fallen into the hands of a puny Longao. It was truly a disgrace. What should he do? How should he deal with Longao and Gong Sunhee? This was a very depressing matter, because one wrong step would lead to many wrong steps. Old ancestor, what should we do now? The four of them actually hated Bai Jing, because if Longao hadn't made such excessive demands, then the four of them would have died long ago. They didn't dare to say anything. Bai Jing's strength was there for all to see. No matter how much anger the four of them had in their hearts, they only dared to hide it in their hearts and did not dare to express it. Let's go back first. After leaving the number 1 star empire, Longao and Gong Sunhee didn't have much confidence. Because no matter what, Bai Jing and the number 1 star empire's strength was there. If they wanted to kill Bai Jing and destroy the number 1 star empire, it wasn't something that could be done with just words. Brother Long, in your opinion, when should we make a move? Gong Sunhee seemed to be impatient, because he knew very well that as long as they didn't deal with the number 1 star empire, Longao wouldn't wholeheartedly help him find the Primal Chaos Tablet. How could Longao not know what Gong Sunhee meant? However, Longao liked this kind of person. At least Gong Sunhee would make his goal public, unlike Bai Jing, who acted in secret. Moreover, Longao could clearly sense that Gong Sunhee didn't have any killing intent towards him. In the end, Gong Sunhee just wanted to devour the Primal Chaos Tablet. 3 days later, Gong Sunhee and Longao moved separately. After returning to the Soaring Dragon Empire, Longao took out about half of the millions of Cosmic Corpse slaves from Long Ing. The rest of the Cosmic Corpse slaves were all left behind. Although the location of the Soaring Dragon Empire was very well hidden, it was better to be safe than sorry. What if the empire was discovered by others? What should he do then? If the empire had an army of millions of corpse slaves, at the very least, they would be able to take care of each other. In the main hall, Seventh brother, have you really decided? You should know that there's no turning back. If we fail this time, we'll be in a passive position in the future. Longao knew exactly what his elder brother meant. Big brother, we have the help of the Third Starry Sky Empire this time. We can definitely gain the upper hand. Even if we can't destroy the First Starry Sky Empire, I can guarantee that after this, it will be of great help to us. Since things were already like this, Longing knew that this battle was unavoidable. However, the Empire did not suffer any losses in this battle. Even if the corpse slave army of several million was completely annihilated, it wouldn't matter much. This was also the reason why Longao dared to make such a move. Seventh brother, do you need any other help? Shaking his head, Longao smiled and said, the reason why Gong Sunhee is willing to help us to deal with the First Starry Sky Empire is because he hopes that I can help him devour the Primal Chaos Tablet. Otherwise, not only will Gong Sunhee not help me, but he will also join forces with Bai Jing to deal with me. This point, Longao was 100% sure. There were no eternal friends in this world, and similarly, there were no eternal enemies. He and Gong Sunhee might be friends now, but no one could guarantee that he and Gong Sunhee would always be friends in the future. Even if they became enemies, it was not impossible. On the contrary, he and Bai Jing were enemies now, but no one could guarantee that they would always be enemies. Who knows, they might become friends in the future. This kind of thing, no one could say for sure. Seventh brother, have you ever thought that if the third Starry Sky Empire helps us to deal with the first Starry Sky Empire, if you can't help Gong Sun He get the Primal Chaos Tablet, will Gong Sun He? At this point, Longing didn't continue, but the meaning of his words was very clear. The 12 Primal Chaos Tablets of the Primal Chaos Plane were all in his pocket. There was no way he could find another one to give to Gong Sun He. This was indeed a troublesome matter. If he didn't handle it well, he and Gong Sun He would become enemies in the future. This was something that was inevitable. Seventh brother, why don't we give up on joining forces with Gong Sun He, so as to avoid being caught in the future? What do you say? Longao smiled and said, there's no need to do this. I only promised Gong Sun He that I would help him find the Primal Chaos Tablet. I didn't promise him that I would definitely be able to find the Primal Chaos Tablet. Although that's the case, I'm afraid that Gong Sun He won't tell you this when the time comes. Longao didn't continue to dwell on this matter. Instead, he said, Big brother, we can't just sit here and wait for death. If this continues, it won't work. Longing also knew that his seventh brother didn't want to dwell on this matter. Since that was the case, he didn't continue either. I know. I've already begun to secretly develop my forces. In 100 years, I can guarantee that our empire's strength won't be any weaker than the 9 Starry Sky Empires. Longao was very clear about his brother's strength. 100 years might sound like a long time, but for the development of the empire and the cultivation of the Starry Sky cultivators, it was only a matter of minutes. Some Starry Sky cultivators might go into seclusion for 100 years, or even 1,000 years at a time. Longao didn't immediately leave the plane. This was because no one knew how long it would take to join forces with the Third Starry Sky Empire to deal with the First Starry Sky Empire. In other words, if he left this time, who knew when he would be able to return? Longao spent some time with his family, especially his son. About 3 days later, Longao led an army of millions of corpses while Gong Sun He led an army of tens of millions. The two armies formed an alliance and began to march towards the First Starry Sky Empire. The news of the alliance between Longao and the Third Starry Sky Empire had spread throughout the vast starry sky. Anyone who heard the news was shocked. They didn't know why Longao and the Third Starry Sky Empire would suddenly form an alliance. If it wasn't for the fact that it had already happened, most people wouldn't have believed it. It was simply too ridiculous. With an alliance, was the Third Starry Sky Empire not afraid of the First Starry Sky Empire? The news of the Third Starry Sky Empire's ancestor, Gong Sun He, also spread throughout the vast starry sky. Chapter 2399. Was it worth it for Gong Sun He to become Bai Jing's enemy for Longao? In the eyes of others, this was definitely not worth it. Even if Longao and the Third Starry Sky Empire joined forces, it was still unknown whether they could match up to the First Starry Sky Empire. Everyone was looking at him. There were many people watching the show. Millions of Starry Sky corpse slaves and tens of millions of Starry Sky cultivators started to attack. A great battle was about to break out. The 2nd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th cosmic empires didn't seem to have any intention of interfering. They would watch the fight from the other side of the river and be prepared to reap the benefits from it. The 7 Starry Sky Empires certainly hoped that both sides would suffer. What was suspicious was the ancestors of the other 7 Starry Sky Empires did not appear. Therefore, neither Bai Jing nor Gong Sun He had provoked the other Starry Sky Empires. Outside the first plane, Gong Sun He, Gong Sun Ao, and Long Ao were in charge. Of course, the three of them knew that even if they joined forces, they might not be a match for the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, but they still wanted to try. Ancestor, Bai Jing, and the others have already sealed the plane. It's almost impossible for us to break the seal and enter. The three of them hadn't expected this at all. In their opinion, Bai Jing would definitely lead the number 1 Starry Sky Empire to fight back. But what was the result? Bai Jing had led the First Starry Sky Empire into hiding like a turtle. Not only did they not dare to fight, but they had sealed their own plane. As soon as the news came out, The entire vast starry sky was shaken. Could it be that Bai Jing and the number 1 Starry Sky Empire were afraid? That shouldn't be possible. Bai Jing's strength didn't need to be mentioned. She was known as the strongest under the Astral Dominator, and her strength wasn't just for show. Not to mention others, even Gongsun he was no match for Bai Jing. In that case, Bai Jing and the number 1 Starry Sky Empire should not avoid the battle, but should fight back. He could not figure it out. No one could figure it out. He wondered what Bai Jing and the number 1 Starry Sky Empire were thinking. Gongsun he nodded in agreement and said helplessly, according to my understanding of White Crystal shouldn't have chosen to seal the realm and avoid the battle. Ancestor, what should we do now? White Crystal and the number 1 Starry Sky Empire avoided the battle, even if they wanted to fight back. Gongsun he didn't know what to do. He looked at Longao and asked, Brother Long, what do you think? There was no enmity between the 3rd Starry Sky Empire and the 1st Starry Sky Empire. Even if Bai Jing and Gongsun he intended to annex each other's empire, the two would not completely fall out unless absolutely necessary. But for the Chaos Steel, Gongsun he was willing to go. Not only that, but the Starry Skies, the Starry Sky Empire to the Starry Sky Empire, SGSKY he Skies Battles Empire, Bai Jing clearly doesn't want to fight us head-on. Since that's the case, we're going to stay here. I want to see just how long Bai Jing will wait. Longao's meaning was simple. If White Crystal didn't show up, it would be to his advantage. His elder brother had said that in 100 years, the empire would develop rapidly. By then, it would be on par with the 9 Starry Sky Empires. But Bai Jing was leading the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. Who knew if they would be able to hold out for 100 years? They just had to be prepared. How could Gongsun he not know Longao's meaning? Longao could wait, but Gongsun he couldn't. The 12 primal chaos stone tablets were scattered everywhere. No one knew when the 12 rulers of the starry sky would find the 12 primal chaos stone tablets. If they were unlucky and the 12 rulers of the starry sky really did find the 12 primal chaos stone tablets, then things would become troublesome. Gongsun he had already decided that he had to find the chaos steels before the starry sky rulers did. His request was simple. He only needed 1 chaos steel. As for the other chaos steels, no matter who found them, it had nothing to do with him. Gongsun he didn't say it directly, because he knew that Longao must know about this. Okay, I'll listen to you. In order to get the chaos steels, Gongsun he could give up anything. He didn't need to listen to Longao. Just like that, Longao's millions of corpse slaves and the 3rd Starry Sky Empire were all guarding the first plane. Both sides were in a deadlock. After the news spread out, everyone was shocked. No one had thought that things would develop like this. Next, would the number 1 Starry Sky Empire counterattack or continue to be a coward? For countless years, the 9 Starry Sky Empires had been the overlords of the universe. No one dared to go against them. Longao was the first in history. The number 1 Starry Sky Empire, in a grand hall. Bai Jing sat quietly. She was not angry at all. On the contrary, the 3 Space Eagles and Bai Hua's group were furious. Being blocked by someone like this would make them a laughingstock in the vast starry sky. They would lose all face. Bai Hua couldn't help but say, Ancestor, I don't understand why we have to endure. Even if Longao and the 3rd Starry Sky Empire join forces, they are still no match for us. Why do we have to do this? We have lost all face. Even if we don't fight, we have lost. Bai Jing didn't speak. She just listened quietly. Bai Hua was still unwilling. As the emperor of the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, no matter what he did, Bai Hua had to consider the interests of the empire first. So he continued, Ancestor, we can't just sit and wait. Longao and the 3rd Starry Sky Empire have gone too far. I can't stand it. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles looked at each other. They could see a trace of helplessness in each other's eyes. Now, in the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, the one in charge wasn't them, but their master. As long as their master didn't say anything, no matter who it was, whether it was the 3 of them or His Majesty, No one dared to make a move. Master, I think His Majesty is right. In this situation, we can't just sit and wait. We have to fight back. Otherwise, everyone in Longao will think that we are easy to bully. We will become very passive in the future. For our empire, this is a very bad thing. Chapter 2400. Bai Jing nodded. How could Bai Jing not know what the four of them meant? He was very depressed. He never thought that things would develop to this point. Long Ao and Gong Sun, he want to force us out. If we accept the challenge, we will fall into their trap. Bai Jing did not care about anything else. The only thing he cared about was the Primal Chaos Tablet. As long as he could get the Primal Chaos Tablet, he could give up anything, even if it meant giving up the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. The 3 Starry Sky Eagles and Bai Hua were helpless. Without their master's orders, no one dared to accept the challenge. What should they do? The situation was very dangerous. If this continued, the empire would lose all face. The hall fell into silence again. The 5 of them, no one said anything. Time passed bit by bit. No one knew how long had passed. From now on, without my orders, no one can accept the challenge. Those who disobey will be killed without mercy. Those who disobey will be killed without mercy. Bai Jing was the person with the most authority in the number 1 Starry Sky Empire. No one dared to disobey her orders. The vast starry sky was changing rapidly. With the sudden change of the number 3 Starry Sky Empire, things became very complicated. The number 1 Starry Sky Empire still refused to accept the challenge. More and more people guessed that the number 1 Starry Sky Empire was afraid of the number 3 Starry Sky Empire. Was that really the case? Long Ao had millions of Starry Sky Corp slaves guarding outside the first plane. Other than Long Ao and Long Ying, no one could control any of the Starry Sky Corp slaves. As for the number 3 Starry Sky Empire's army of millions of Starry Sky cultivators, they were guarding other places. No matter who it was, no one was allowed to leave the first plane. Anyone from the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, they would kill one on sight. Anyone from the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, they would kill without mercy. Both sides were in a stalemate. Continue to stay here? Long Ao was very depressed, because Bai Jing and the number 1 Starry Sky Empire would not come out for the time being. If that was the case, it would be a pain in the ass for him to stay here. Brother Gong Sun, I still have something to do. The millions of Starry Sky Corp slaves will all stay here. Can you help look after them? No problem. At this time, whatever Long Ao said was the law. Long Ao didn't continue to stay here. He turned around and quickly left. In a short while, he had disappeared without a trace. Looking at the gradually disappearing figure, Gong Sun Ao said gloomily, Ancestor, Long Ao is doing this to kill with a borrowed knife. Are we willing to be used like this? As the Emperor of the Third Universal Empire and a pinnacle universe undying, Gong Sun Ao had never placed Long Ao in his eyes. Gong Sun Ao simply could not understand why the old ancestor valued Long Ao so much. He could not figure it out. He simply couldn't figure it out. What was going on? Gong Sun he smiled and said, Long Ao is a good person. As long as I can obtain the tablet, any price is worth it. Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. So it was for the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Of course, Gong Sun Ao knew what it meant for the old ancestor to devour the tablet. Without a doubt, as long as the old ancestor devoured the tablet, he would become a universe ruler with a 100% certainty. At that time, whether it was Bai Jing or the number 1 Starry Sky Empire, they would be dealt with in minutes. However, Gong Sun Ao still couldn't figure out what was going on. He didn't know why the old ancestor was so certain that Long Ao would help him obtain the tablet. If he could obtain it, why didn't Long Ao devour the tablet himself? As if he could guess what Gong Sun Ao was thinking, Gong Sun he smiled and said, of the 12 Primal Chaos tablets of the Primal Chaos plane, aside from Long Ao who obtained them twice, no one else, including the 12 universe rulers, has been able to obtain them. Gong Sun Ao seemed to have guessed something. Although he didn't quite believe it, he didn't say anything. Within a secret room, Long Ying already knew that the first Starry Sky Empire had closed their doors and refused to fight. Seventh brother, I already know everything about the first Starry Sky Empire. According to my guess, if nothing unexpected happens, Bai Jing just doesn't want both sides to suffer. All he wants is the tablet. There's no need for him to go down with us, especially now that we have the help of the Third Starry Sky Empire. Longao had already guessed Bai Jing's intentions. He thought for a moment. Big brother, Bai Jing is very sinister. He doesn't want to fight us head-on, but he hasn't locked onto our empire's position. I'm almost certain that if he does, he'll use it to blackmail us. Regarding Bai Jing's meaning, Longao knew it clearly. The current empire was hidden very well. If Bai Jing and the First Starry Sky Empire wanted to find it, it would be impossible. Seventh brother, this is what I'm most worried about. If Bai Jing locates us, we'll be in a lot of trouble. It would be a lie to say that he wasn't afraid. Bai Jing was a half-step Starry Sky Dominator. He was known as the strongest under the Starry Sky Dominator. With such strength, unless someone in the Empire could refine the tablet and become a Starry Sky Dominator, no one would be Bai Jing's match. Once Bai Jing locates the Empire's position, it would be as Seventh Brother had guessed. Bai Jing would definitely use the Empire as blackmail to blackmail Seventh Brother into obtaining the tablet. The 12 tablets were all devoured by their own people. They couldn't hand them over. If it was something else, they might be able to give it away. Only the tablets. Longao knew what they meant. They couldn't hand over the tablets even if they died. However, it was better to be safe than sorry. If the Empire's position was locked onto by Bai Jing, the consequences would be unimaginable. What should they do? No matter how he thought about it, he couldn't think of a good idea. Long Ying's face grew darker and darker. Because if they didn't get rid of Bai Jing, it would be a big problem for the Empire. Longao was very clear about his brother's worries. He said helplessly, "Big brother, with our current strength, we can't kill Bai Jing." Longing sighed deeply and said helplessly, "We can only hope that Bai Jing won't be able to lock onto our empire's position. Otherwise, it won't be good for us." Longao was very confident about this because Bai Jing wasn't a divine mathematician. He couldn't calculate the empire's exact position. Chapter 2401. The Sky Martial Realm. Bai Jing arrived outside the Sky Martial Realm, but he couldn't enter. Although his cultivation base had reached the half-step Starry Sky Dominator level, he was still not a true Starry Sky Dominator. His strength was nothing in front of a Starry Sky Dominator. As long as the 12 Starry Sky Dominators were willing to help, they could easily defeat a half-step Starry Sky Dominator. That was the case. Bai Jing just stood outside the realm respectfully, not daring to take a step inside. "Come in." Hearing Master Godly Mathematician's words, Bai Jing took a step forward and disappeared from the realm. Outer Sea, Crystal Palace. "Greetings, Master Godly Mathematician." Bai Jing bowed respectfully. Now, Bai Jing was as respectful as he could be. Master Godly Mathematician nodded and asked, "Why are you looking for me?" "Master Godly Mathematician, I came here to ask you for a favor." "Speak." Bai Jing didn't know about the relationship between Longao and Master Godly Mathematician. After all, Bai Jing wasn't qualified. If he knew, he would never come here even if he was beaten to death. He was asking for trouble. "Master, I believe you already know about the grudge between me and Longao. Now the Soaring Dragon Empire's location is uncertain, and Longao has a Starry Sky Divine artifact. Even I can't locate Longao." Master Godly Mathematician was not a fool. He immediately understood Bai Jing's meaning. Unable to lock onto Longao's position, Bai Jing's intention was very simple. She wanted to control the Soaring Dragon Empire, which was Longao's family, and use this to threaten Longao. The Soaring Dragon Empire was Longao's weakness. As long as she could control the Soaring Dragon Empire, Longao could go east and Longao could go west. Master Godly Mathematician laughed. "Bai Jing, do you think it's appropriate to involve me in the grudge between you and Longao?" Of course it wasn't appropriate. As a half-step Starry Sky Dominator, he would be a laughingstock if he went against Longao. Especially now, he couldn't even locate Longao, let alone locate Longao. It was simply too embarrassing. There was no other way. Even if there was a small way, Bai Jing wouldn't have come to master godly mathematician. There were 12 starry sky dominators. Among them, starry sky god clairvoyant could calculate anything, which was why Bai Jing had come looking for him. Seeing that Bai Jing didn't say anything, the divine mathematician continued, I won't ask about the grudges between you and Longao, nor will I interfere. If I help you deal with him, once this matter spreads out, I will be laughed at by everyone. The starry sky ruler had never casually interfered in the affairs of the vast cosmos. Godly mathematician was master. What was the reason? Bai Jing couldn't figure it out. She didn't know why master godly mathematician didn't want to help. Under normal circumstances, given her status and strength, master godly mathematician would choose her over Longao without hesitation and give up on Longao. But what was the result? Bai Jing knew that master godly mathematician didn't want to. Even if master godly mathematician told her, he wouldn't have spread the news. Sir, in that case, I'll take my leave first. If master godly mathematician didn't want to help, there was no point in her staying. Just as Bai Jing was about to leave. Bai Jing, sir, what are your orders? Bai Jing was curious. She didn't know why master godly mathematician called her. In the vast universe, only the 9 of you have obtained a secret realm and become half-step starry sky dominators. What did that mean? Bai Jing was even more curious. It was common knowledge that only the 9 of them had become half-step starry sky dominators. Why did master godly mathematician suddenly mention this? Master God Diviner continued, I'm sure you already know about the 12 chaos tablets that appeared in the chaos plane. Let me give you a piece of advice. You'd best devour the chaos tablets as soon as possible and become a ruler of the stars. Otherwise, the 9 of you won't even have a chance. Huh, what did that mean? Bai Jing was completely confused. Just as she was about to ask, Master Godly Mathematician waved his hand and said, You can go. Bai Jing was extremely depressed. She nodded helplessly, turned around, and slowly left. Master Godly Mathematician shook his head helplessly and closed his eyes to rest. Outside the Tianwu plane, Bai Jing's face was very gloomy and ugly. Master Godly Mathematician's words were very clear. It seemed that the vast universe would be in trouble in the future. Bai Jing didn't care about anything else, but Master Godly Mathematician's words were something she couldn't ignore. The key was the chaos steels. If she couldn't devour the chaos steels and become a starry sky dominator, even if things didn't affect her in the future, she would be in a very passive position. After all, there were 12 starry sky dominators in the vast universe. One day, if the 12 starry sky dominators weren't happy, she would be finished. No matter what happened, she had to get the chaos steels. Otherwise, she would be in a passive position. Thinking of this, Bai Jing couldn't wait to find Longao. At this time, only Longao could help her get the chaos steels. However, without Master Godly Mathematician's help, it was difficult for her to lock onto Longao's position. As for the location of the soaring dragon empire, in the vast starry sky, trying to find the location of the soaring dragon empire was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. This was also the most depressing thing for Bai Jing. As a half-step starry sky dominator, this was the first time she encountered such a situation. What kind of starry sky divine tool in Longao's hand was this starry sky divine tool? Other than Gong Sun He, no one else knew that Bai Jing had left the first starry sky empire. After all, with Bai Jing's strength, even if someone knew, no one could stop her. Even Gong Sun He couldn't stop her. After all, Gong Sun He's strength was the strongest under the starry sky dominator. Longao didn't plan to return to the first starry sky empire for the time being. As long as Bai Jing and the first starry sky empire didn't fight, it would be useless even if he went. It wasn't easy to wait for the third starry sky empire to help him, but Bai Jing chose to avoid the battle. It was a very annoying thing. Ao, father, are you looking for me? Longao was very curious to see his father in such a hurry. He didn't know what had happened, but seeing his father in such a hurry, could something have happened in the empire? Chapter 2402. Long Yi was very anxious, his face filled with impatience. Ao, something happened to your mother. Ah. Standing up, Long Ao was completely stunned. His mother was the most important person in his life. Nothing could happen to her. Long Ao's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he was gone. In a courtyard with an extremely elegant environment, everyone was gathered outside the courtyard. All of them had anxious expressions and were very worried. Even those who had already devoured the primal chaos stone tablet immediately came out. Grandpa, what's going on? Longhao Shi was also very worried. Ao, according to my guess, if there are no accidents, your mother's accident should be related to the primal chaos stone tablet. Primal chaos stone tablet. With a big stride, Long Ao had already rushed into the room. Currently, only Yuan, Aoshue, Bai Ling, and Yin were in the room. How is mother? The four women shook their heads. Their faces were filled with helplessness and sadness. Yuan was the leader of the four women. She said worriedly, Brother Long, mother has been unconscious for dozens of minutes. I can clearly feel that there is a problem with her mind. Mind? Others did not know, but Long Ao and the others were very clear. Mother had devoured the spiritual chaos stone tablet. Under normal circumstances, the spiritual chaos stone tablet had already been tempered by his own non-attributed primal chaos stone tablet. It was impossible for there to be a backlash. If it was before, it was still possible for the spiritual chaos stone tablet to have a backlash. Long Ao immediately began to carefully examine it. Sure enough, it was just as his grandfather and Yuan had guessed. The reason why his mother had fainted was completely because there was a problem with the spiritual primal chaos stone tablet in her body. However, the spiritual chaos stone tablet did not have any remnant soul inside. As for the reason, he did not know at this time. The people in the room were all his own people. Other than the four women, there was only his father. Even his grandfather did not come in. Ao, how is your mother? Long Yi was very worried. All along, Long Yi and Mu Lin's relationship had been very good. Mu Lin's sudden situation made Long Yi extremely worried. Father, mother is temporarily unconscious because of the spiritual chaos stone tablet. She should be fine. Saying that, Long Ao carried his mother and disappeared from the room with the four women and his father. Within the primal chaos palace. Although Long Ao already knew that his mother had fainted because of the spiritual chaos stone tablet, he was unable to find out the exact situation. With the current situation, he could only rely on the non-attributed primal chaos stone tablet to see what was going on. He immediately began to check. Long Yi and the other four did not say anything. They just watched quietly. The matter of the primal chaos stone tablet could only be resolved by Long Ao alone. Even if others wanted to interfere, it was also something impossible. Anxiously waiting. No one knew what was going on. The attributeless primal chaos stone tablet's grade was obviously above the spirit primal chaos stone tablet. No problem at all? Unable to sense any problems, this time, Long Ao was completely depressed. If there was no problem with the spirit chaos stone tablet, then why was his mother unconscious? He was very anxious. Ao, what's going on? Helplessly shaking his head, Long Ao said helplessly, Father, I've just used the non-attributed primal chaos stone tablet to sense it. There's no problem with mother's spiritual chaos stone tablet. No problem? Hearing Long Ao's words, the five of them were curious. Could it not be about the spiritual chaos stone tablet? Ai. Long Yi heaved a heavy sigh. He was very worried. He looked at his wife quietly, unable to say a word. Long Ao's face was also helpless. Anyway, he had 3 months. He temporarily arranged for his father and mother to stay in the Primal Chaos Palace. This way, he could temporarily stabilize his mother's condition. In the courtyard, after sending his grandfather and the others away, Long Ao looked at the 4 people in front of him and said, Mother's situation is very special. I haven't found out what's going on with her, but I can say that her sudden coma should be related to the spiritual chaos stone tablet. However, even with my non-attributed primal chaos stone tablet, I can't find out what's going on. Yuan and the others nodded. Of course, they already understood what was going on. Brother Long, Don't worry too much. Mother is definitely fine. I know. Longao would definitely not choose to give up. He immediately entered the Primal Chaos Palace and continued to check on his mother's body. He also moved his father out. In the entire Primal Chaos Palace, only Longao and Mu Lin were left. Mu Lin was still unconscious. He quietly stood there, looking at his mother who was just inches away from him. Mother, please don't let anything happen to you. Otherwise, deeply sighing. Longao did not hesitate and immediately began to sense. It was still the same sentence. Right now, the only way was to rely on the non-attributed Primal Chaos Stone Tablet and hope that he could sense what was going on with the Spiritual Chaos Stone Tablet. In the end, he still did not find anything. With no other choice, Longao could only find Xiling. He went straight to the point and said, Xiling, I believe you already know about my mother's situation. I used the non-attributed Primal Chaos Stone Tablet before, but did not find anything. Do you know what happened? Among all the people in the Soaring Dragon Empire, only Xiling was the ruler of the stars. As for the other people who had swallowed the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, none of them had been able to truly refine it. Therefore, Longao's first thought was of Xiling. Xiling also knew the seriousness of the matter. He also knew what had happened. His face was very serious. He said helplessly, Longao, don't worry. I already understand Annie's situation. I also checked Annie's body before. Just as you guessed, if nothing unexpected happened, Auntie's temporary coma must be related to the Spiritual Chaos Stone Tablet. Regarding this point, Longao of course knew. It was just that he could not find out what was wrong with the Spiritual Chaos Stone Tablet. Otherwise, he would have solved it long ago. There was no need to wait until now. Looking at the worried Longao, Xiling said, Longao, the Spiritual Chaos Stone Tablet has just appeared. Whether it is the same as the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet we have is still unknown. Even your non-attributed Primal Chaos Stone Tablet cannot sense anything. It seems like this matter is very troublesome. Listening to Xiling's words, Longao already understood what Xiling meant. It seemed like even Xiling could not do anything. This was really troublesome. If he had known this would happen, he would not have let his mother swallow the Spiritual Chaos Stone Tablet. Now, it seemed like he had gone for wool and come home shorn. Not only did he not help his mother, he might have even harmed her. If that was really the case, how could he explain himself? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.